When Kobie and I decided to create a podcast and coined it the Father-Son Podcast, most would feel this is a gimmick for the podcast, and that couldn't be further from the truth. From the day Kobie was born, I introduced him to video games. This was a way of life for me, as I can remember my father buying me the Odyssey home system, where the cellophane field that clung to the TV determined what game you were playing. Kobie's love for video games grew, as did the bond of a father and a son. When I introduced him to online play, his world opened to new heights. He learned quickly that the incredible gaming experience wasn't just something shared between a father and a son, but there was an entire world that shared his passion for gaming. Gaming was just part of his upbringing, as school or sports was. We always made arrangements that a video game experience was just an arm's length away, even when we went on vacation. As Kobie got older, our experience took us to the road, experiencing events like the Great E3 to more modern events like Summer Game Fest, the Xbox Experience, IGN, and PAX. Kobie graduated from college and now works in the video game industry on the Xbox team. So, as you can see, it was nothing but natural progression to now share our experience and love of the industry through our podcast. Now sit back and enjoy the ride.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Father and Son Gaming Podcast right here on Active Reload Gaming. My name is Kobie, aka Kobie127. That is Kevin, aka Octane699. Dad, how you doing? You are muted.
First time you tell me to shut up all the time, and I'm always muted. I am so excited about this podcast. Since we've started this podcast, you know, we've interviewed devs, we've interviewed retro game, store owners. We've been live at PAX. We've interviewed professional streamers. But I think we have two of my favorite podcasters on today. So you have no idea how excited I am because I watch these guys. I really do watch these guys every single week. I try to emulate these two. I think these two bring so much information and entertainment to the industry that I am so proud to have these on the Father-Son Gaming Podcast. Yep. So I'm doing very well today.
And I think, as we're going to transition to the people who don't know who our guests are today, I'm going to throw up the socials. Our guests today are Colteastwood and Baron from LV1Gaming. So we're super excited to have both of them in the show. Fellas, welcome. How are you two doing?
Doing pretty good, man. I'm glad to be here.
Yeah, we appreciate you two hopping on the podcast. We have a very exciting one today. We're going to be going over the game of the year. We do have people popping off with the chat. Someone said, "Let's go, young Kobie." That video very highlights a very young part of my life and career and how I kind of got to where I am. But, Colt, first off, I want to ask you, how you doing? What are you up to?
Not much. I was feeling kind of sad when I watched that video because I have a kid who's just about your age that played video games when she was about 4 years old. And I'm like, oh yeah, wow. Kevin and I are really, really old relics of the past. And when you talk about the Odyssey, like my first console, our family had the Intellivision, which was, it was pretty much, the competitor to Atari. But yeah, I mean, I've been gaming for a long time. And looking back, I have pictures like that. My kid and I playing Star Wars Lego on the original Xbox.
Incredible game.
Yeah, what's funny is, and that's why I did the video, is I don't want people to think this is BS. Like, I really did. I grew up, I had that. I had the Atari, I had the Intellivision, I had the ColecoVision. Like, I grew up blessed that I did have all the games. So this isn't just something where Kobie says, "Hey, Dad, why don't you get on here?" Like, I grew up around games, and I was sharing my love of games with him and knew that he was going to be a gamer. Like, that was just all part of it. So that's why we kind of put that together to kind of make us stand out a little bit, that it's not this gimmick of, hey, here's a gray-haired old man that's just going to sit here that doesn't know anything about the industry. And I really do. Like, I love it. But Kobie and I have been going before we ever started this. Like, we've been to, the E3s, we've been to the PAX, he's going to the Game Awards. We're talking about, we got tickets to go out to Gamescom that we're working things out. So again, we're doing this as our love, and then we thought, why not just bring it to the community? And that's kind of why we started this.
Yeah.
And what's funny is it's not in there. Kobie, as you all know, works at Xbox. Every day that he drives home, he calls us, and this is our conversation. This used to be our conversation at God bless my wife, because all of Kobie's life, this is our conversation at the dinner table. And when Kobie said, why don't we do a podcast? And I'm like, I don't know. He's like, Dad, this is what we do every day. So this is really the path and the travel to getting us here of why we're doing this. And we were doing it anyway. We're just sitting in front of a camera right now. Yeah. But that's kind of where we came from.
Yep, and someone in the chat's calling you the old man gamer, Dad. And then someone said we're not really a father and son. That's Shemplu, but we're just a contract deal. So that's awesome.
That's okay.
Baron, how you doing? What are you up to?
Man, I just gotta say that video, like, it's inspiring as heck, because I have 3 little girls who I got hooked on gaming. And, you know, I was kind of the first one, and, you know, I'm the oldest, and my parents kind of they were young. They gave me a Sega. My first console was a Sega. And, right. And it just seeing those pictures and just knowing that that's how I grew up, and now being able to share that with my kid, and who knows if they want to have a podcast. They don't think I'm too cool. So I don't. They just tell me, hey, Dad, can you put on, can you give me the Fortnite Battle Pass, or can you put on WWE?
There you go.
So I've won.
I'll just give you just a real quick short thing here, because this is I call it my elevator pitch to all of Kobie's, you know, people that he works with. But in my family in 7th grade, my father, his father, so forth, always came to us when we were in 7th grade and said, what do you want to do with your life? And then they nurture it. Kobie, I came to him, and he was the first, because I'm 5th generation of sales marketing. He says, I want to get into video games. I had no clue. So I turned over all of his games.
I had to break the mold.
Yeah, I wrote a letter to every one of his games, basically stating that if he wanted to be a football star, a baseball star, I'd know what to do. He wants to get into this industry. I have no idea. We, from 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th grade, for 6 years, we'd take a week off and go down to Epic Games. Nice. Like, we were down at Epic that they would sit down with Kobie, and the other one was Red Storm. Red Storm. It was a division of Ubisoft at the time. And that's kind of the first, you know, introduction that we got in, and they would sit and show Kobie what he needed to do. It wasn't just, hey, here's a tour. Like, they were working with us. And then we found a college that had a conduit to Microsoft, and then, you know, the rest is history. But we've been working on Kobie getting into the industry since 7th grade.
You need to write a book. Yeah, I need that farm system.
I only gave him the opportunity. He had to walk through the door and make it happen. You know what I mean?
I do want to point there is someone in the chat. Septic Sauce is adding you, Colt, saying, "Don't believe a word out of your mouth," for the rest of the show. So. We're gonna have nothing but lies coming from Colt, apparently, I guess, for the rest of the show. But I do want to start moving in, because, you know, this is the Game Awards week. This is a huge week in gaming. Always a lot of debate what Game of the Year means, what people's Game of the Years are. But I thought it'd be very fun to have the 4 of us on, talk about our personal Game of the Years. But to start, because it is Game Awards week, I am very curious, for anyone who hasn't seen it, there's this damn statue in the middle of a desert. And there's a lot of speculation online as to what this thing even is. Colt, I want to start with you. What is your predictions of this statue? Do you think it's something cool? Do you think it's going to be disappointing? Where are you at with this? And what are your hype levels for whatever this thing is?
My hype levels are pretty high. Not many people are expecting this, but this is the Redfall 2 statue. The long-awaited sequel.
Wow. At first, I'm thinking, I'm processing what you just said, and I'm like, did he just say Redfall 2?
He said Redfall. Redfall 1.5.
I mean, it's gone through so many things. I think we got a quote from Jeff Keighley today that really, really focuses in on what this statue is going to be. It's not Lords of the Fallen. It's not God of War. It's not
Diablo, and not Elder Scrolls.
Diablo. It's not Elder Scrolls. Like, those were all confirmed. And then, when Lords of the Fallen finally said it wasn't them because they seemed the most likely, the quote from Jeff Keighley is just like a few words here. The reckoning will soon be upon all sinners. And I don't know a lot about this game, but a lot of people are saying it's Divinity Original Sin or a Divinity sequel of some sort.
That's my dark horse theory of this. I came at this with, I had 3 predictions. I think my golden prediction for me is From Software's undisclosed second game that they're working on, because I think the iconography of this statue is very Dark Souls-ish. I don't think it's Bloodborne 2. As much as I would want Bloodborne 2, I huff the hopium every time a showcase happens. I'm like, when is this thing happening? But I don't think it's going to be that. I think my dark horse was Divinity Original Sin 3. I think my disappointing theory is Path of Exile 2 1.0.
Yeah, I don't know why you do a statue for that. What about you, Baron? You've got some kind of crazy. You've been like, you were chipping pieces off. You went there in person and you were chiseling some stuff.
Right. Look, I wonder if somebody's chipped off any of it because it is around the corner. But look, I honestly, my hope is that it's Remnant 3. I hope that it's Remnant 3. Because it does look a lot like a lot of the different enemies and the different entities that corrupted the corruption. And then there's so much of that story we don't know about the old guy. Oh my God, I can't believe blanking on his name. But there's a whole major character who like pops up and then pulls a Mr. Manhattan and disappears for the rest of the game. But what for some reason, and only because I've seen how much like money they have no problem spending at different events, a part of me truly believes it is Path of Exile. Just only because they've spent so that like they have no problem setting up large booths. If you guys have been to PAX, if you've been to any gaming event, any gaming event, they have no problem. Their booth is as big as Larian's, if not bigger. They have no problem spending money on big showcases at big places. And for it to be, I don't play it and I don't follow it much, but enough to where it's present. So I've seen it at a bunch of places. I got a feeling I hope it's not, but it's Path of Exile. But I hope it's Remnant 3. And then the random I don't FromSoft something.
Yeah.
But here's the thing I brought up, Colt, before you got on too. When was the last time you saw something visceral like this and physical hype over a game? That's what I love about it.
An undisclosed game that we have no idea what this thing is.
Like, to me, that's what I love about the industry, and that's what we're losing in the industry is this like I said, the get people talking about something unique and weird out there. That's what I love about it. I don't care what game it is. I like that from the marketing aspect, I like that they're doing something like that. I still think it's Bloodborne 2. And I'm going off of, if you look at the eye on this statue, that eye is in Bloodborne. I'm sticking with it.
I can't huff the hopium, but go for it.
And Kobie won't bet me because he already owes me about $10 off of bets he's lost.
Yeah.
In fact, I think, Colt, when we first met you out at LA, I think we were talking about bets of Gears of War even back then.
Yeah.
Kobie and I have these odd bets about everything in the industry. And I think we both owe each other about $100,000 at this point that nobody's ever paid up.
Right. Just hit him with the dad tax and come out on top.
Yeah. But yeah, Cole, can you think of any game that has done this kind of marketing in recent time?
No, mostly it's like plastered vinyl wraps on buses and painted buildings and things like that. You don't really get a physical manifestation of like a game to get people excited. So when people say, "Oh, it's this sequel," or it's this franchise, my gut instinct is that it's probably a brand new IP.
Yeah.
The one thing that really throws me off is you've got all the corpses or like the undead, and then you have these, not like zombies, but you have like these corpse type humans, and then you have this alligator and this bear. And when people are like, "Oh my gosh, it's God of War," I'm like, where's that alligator tying to God of War? And everything everyone is guessing.
Egypt.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like, oh, God of War in Egypt, which is I'm not quite sure about that rumor either. You know, that's been kicked back and forth as being debunked and not debunked. So I don't know where that sits. But Jeff Keighley better have a really cool reveal. If it's like an expansion or a continuation of something like Path of Exiles, that'll be really disappointing because people are like, I got so excited, I got so hopeful about Half-Life 3 and everything else.
Yeah.
So I just think it's probably going to be a new game from a studio that a lot of people really like. That's probably your best guess. And we go through this all the time. Like there's news today that broke like in about an hour ago that Daryl Gallagher, the old reboot of Tomb Raider and the mind behind the Dead Perfect Dark game, just got picked up by 2K, and everyone can say, oh my gosh, what's he going to make? And that conversation is completely pointless because he's probably going to be making something brand new. I mean, I guess he could reboot something, but yeah, so this statue could be anything. And I said this last week on my show with Mag, it's hard to get excited about a statue for a game or a franchise or a possible sequel or expansion for a game. I have no idea what it is. If there was something in there that really told me what it was, like when they say the word sin, like Gaz in the chat said Dante's Inferno, a game I absolutely loved, an underrated gem that just came and went.
One of the coolest trailers of all time.
Oh yeah.
Would EA revive that? I think the EA studio that made Dante's Inferno, I don't know if you remember, I don't even know if they're around anymore. I don't even remember who made it, but I don't know. Would it be something like that? I don't know.
It's exciting though that the industry's talking about it.
Dante's Inferno was developed by Visceral, the studio that made Dead Space, and well, they're gone. And EA just said that Dead Space is on ice as well. So
so dumb.
Yeah, no, I agree. After how phenomenal the remake was, but I just want to say hello to everyone in the chat. People are popping off. Hello, Cherry Tomato Boy. Shemplu's talking. Said Half-Life 3 jokingly, and then obviously Septic said Dante's.
Well, that's the fact that they come on. You put it on Mesa, like come on, you're messing with the world with that. Correct. Just having it on that cross street alone was evil. Like even like that was come on. Like that.
Did those visuals tell you the Half-Life series?
No,
I don't.
The only thing I can think of is the alien invasion, like the alien world you go to in Half-Life 1 or the Black Mesa remake. Like there is like tentacles, but like I think that's like the only thing I can point to. Like there is no no matter. I've seen people also saying Saros, but I don't know if you do a statue for an already announced game like this.
A Returnal 2.5, I don't think so.
I mean, Saros is almost out. It's
it comes out in March.
Soon.
Yeah.
There's
no way this is Half-Life. There's no way it's Half-Life.
I think
funny.
It would
be.
I think Valve is like Rockstar. They move to the beat of their own drum. They're gonna just announce it on a random Thursday at 2:01 p.m. They'll be like, "Yo, here's a tweet."
You know what? You know what I love about this the most is because we're in it, right? Like we're digging through tweets, we're looking at new hires, and like we're in the space. So for us to be completely out of the loop, like with no true north at all. Like I love it because I feel like that's been the one negative about what I do. Like if I had one complaint about what we do, it's there's very little that surprises us anymore. And regardless of what this is, it's truly gonna be like, now that split second after the big shock and awe, I'm gonna be like, or like that's gonna come. That wave is gonna be there. But I don't know. It could be anything.
I think the final thing I will say about this is no matter what the reveal is, I don't see a world where everyone is happy. I think
it's true.
It has garnered so much hype, and I think there is so many narratives being formed around it that no matter what, people are going to be pissed one way or another. I just can't wait to see what that's going to be. But I do want to start moving into our actual game of the years. But we know I did promise on socials we do have some game giveaways going. Baron and Colt, you guys have codes. If you just want to say how you're going to give away your stuff, where to go to, so we can get that done. And then for the rest of the show, I'm going to have a running ticker with some codes. Just yell claimed in the chat if you have it, and I'll start putting up the next one. So Colt, I'll start with you. What are you giving away, and where are you going to give it away?
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm going to be giving away Ninja Gaiden 4 on Xbox PC and Xbox console, a Play Anywhere title. And if you watch my show live, which is after this one tonight, you'll have a chance to win that code. We'll be giving that away in the chat so you can play Ninja Gaiden 4 and see copious amounts of blood.
Marin, what about you?
Yes, so we're going to be giving away a copy of the Outer Worlds 2 Premium Edition for Steam, and we're going to be giving that away on Friday during the LV1Gaming podcast, and you guys just show up there, and we'll figure out a way. I'll talk to my boss. He doesn't like when I call him that, but 51%, you know, he runs the paperwork. But yeah, so, we'll figure out how to give it out there, but watch us live on Friday, LV1 Gaming.
Hell yes.
And I just want to give one plug before you go on, since we're talking about the Game Awards. Tune in to the Active Reload Gaming, because Kobie is going to be live from the Game Awards. As I said, I took one for the team because I'm going to be back here running it to make sure we could get it up live, and he's going to be the reporter on the streets. But I can promise you next year we'll have somebody running it, and we're both going to be there.
Yep.
Because I'm not going to miss out. It's a bucket list for me. So, but make sure you tune in, because Kobie will be live, and we'll be live from the Game Awards.
But yes, and I'm going to throw up the first code here on the ticker. It is for Ninja Gaiden 4 Premium Steam. Have at it. Screen cap this right now, and we're going to start moving forward with the rest of the thing. And I'm going to post it in the chat
for a little bit.
But it resized everything, so I'm going to plop it in the chat, and someone can yell claim. So
there you go.
Here you go. Whoever gets it just yells claim, and I will take it away. So 2025 has been, I think, probably the best year in gaming, a year that I cannot physically keep up with at all. Like, there's been so many great titles that have come out, and I think we can all agree that this year has just been stellar for many different genre-defining games, many games of all sorts. So we all came with a list of 5, our top 5 games. Actually, Shemplu says in the chat, how do you claim these? Put the code into the platform and just yell claimed. It's going to be a free for all in the chat.
But I do agree. I do agree with Bombay. He said Twitch does have an advantage because YouTube is like a minute and 10-second delay.
Yeah.
Wow.
But, it is crazy. But so yeah, we all have our top 5s and such. So Cole, I want to start with you before we even get into your top 5. Do you have any honorable mentions that you want to give for your games of the year?
Honorable mentions. Yeah, it's been kind of a weird year for me. There was 2 major games that everybody loved that I didn't finish, but one of them I really liked. So my honorable mention will be let's see. I didn't think about this ahead of time.
I can come back to you if you want to still think about it.
It's going to bother some people, but it does bear explaining. Expedition 33 is my honorable mention.
Okay.
Now this is a really tough one because I wasn't interested in the game. I'm not interested in that type of combat. I've never really liked those type of games. And then once I played it, I fell in love with it, but then I fell out of love with it. Like I got 40 hours into the game and I'm like, I'm kind of done. I'm kind of done with the combat and the challenge. I didn't want to go down to story mode for difficulty. And I don't know. I was doing a lot of meandering in the game when I got like way through Act 2.
Was that when it opened up?
No, it'd been open, but I just kind of like, I would even go into levels and try to figure out where am I supposed to go next. And it just kind of got tiring. And everyone was talking nonstop about how in love they were with Expedition 33. And they were talking about it every second, posting it a million times. They were playing it all the time. And after about 30 or 40 hours, I was like, I don't know. I don't know where to go next. And then I run into enemies and then I'll die. And then I'm like, I don't know. I just think I'm done. But I really think the game is so high quality, and I was so glad that it just won over gamers like no other game. Like people, I never played turn-based combat games, and they all fell in love with it, and I did too. there was this really nice like 3-week honeymoon session where I was playing the game, and but it doesn't sit on my very top 5 because there were other games that I absolutely loved. So that's my honorable mention, and that's going to be kind of historic.
Totally fair. I have more to say about Expedition, but I'll be yapping about Expedition later on in the podcast. Baron, I want to transition to you. I saw your honorable mentions. I love the one game. I haven't played the other one, so I want to hear what you have for your quick honorable mentions.
Keeper and Herdling. Funny enough, what I love, I call them palate cleansing games.
Yeah.
There you can honestly, if you have enough time, 6 hours to sit and do nothing on a Saturday, you could clear these games. They're experiences.
Yes.
Musically, visually, little to no narrative, like dialogue at all across either title, and you're just doing something. Like in Keeper, you're a lighthouse, moving, like, and keeping the light and bringing the light back to the environment. And in Herdling, you're somehow, some way herding these animals out of a city back to this mountaintop valley. And I can't really tell you why I'm doing it, but I truly enjoyed doing it. And it was in between, playing Battlefield, in between playing, high intensity game, Kingdom Come Deliverance. Like you're playing these high intensity games with a lot going on, different menus to keep up with, running Marvel Rivals for Lord knows how long, and then all of a sudden you get this game that's just like a moment. Like that's what it is. I almost don't recommend people play it in pieces. Like if you can't take the time to finish it in one go, like don't. Like just find time to where you can just play it and finish it. Like binge watching a show.
Oh, I agree. I do want to hop in here because I have 2. I'm tied for number 6 with my honorable mentions, and Keeper is one of them. And like I said before, it is a double fine ass video game in every sense of that phrase. I do think it is the purest definition of an art piece. It asks a simple but ambitious question, in my opinion. How do you tell a compelling, emotionally resonant story without a spoken piece of dialogue? And I think that's what that game really had going for it. And I think it answers it with a lot of confidence. I beat the game in 4 hours, and it is a story, like you said, of a lighthouse and a bird. And it's very simple, but it's a beautiful tale of found family. And that storytelling hook in movies always gets me. I love found family films. So it's like when you do that and put it into this quirky and gorgeous setting. And to me, I phrased it on our review. This is Xbox's journey from the PS3.
Yes.
Like it invokes those same feelings and ambition. It's short and incredibly sweet. And it doesn't overstay its welcome. I agree. Play it in one sitting, get the full experience, and see what the cycle of life really is with Keeper. It's very profound.
You might shed a tear, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, it does. Yeah.
And Colt, you said you didn't even play Keeper. So do you think you're going to coming on the winter break?
Yeah, I have to, because I've just jumped into a spot where I'm out of new games to play. So yeah. Keeper's something I need to play. Another honorable mention would probably be, this one kind of doesn't count, but Grounded 2 in early access gave my kids and I like 50 hours, 60 hours of gameplay, and it was absolutely phenomenal. Also played with a couple of friends. And, I did that for like, I don't know, almost a month, and I've already forgotten like, oh yeah, that was another thing I did in 2025. And that's such a really good game. I can't wait to see what they do next. And we're waiting until we're going to wait for like a whole year of content before we jump back in, because we swallowed up the first update in like one day, like one afternoon after school. So that's been pretty good stuff. It's been a good year.
That's awesome. I just want to get my last honorable mention, and Dad, I'll ask yours. And this honorable mention pains me. This feels like a personal sin of mine to put it here, because I did not have enough time for it, because life got in the way, podcast reviews, Hades 2. So the reason why I say is Hades 1 is my favorite roguelike game of all time. I put 12 hours in the Hades 2, and I think it deserves all the flowers, perfect scores, and awards that it's going to get. I think it's clever, stylish, mechanically rich, and I think the combat is super flavorful. I didn't even get to explore the top layer yet. I'm still missing half of the game. Like I didn't even get to go into that. So it's like, it would have been my number 3 of the year if I decided to invest more time into it. But because of everything else surrounding the time, the legs were cut off from under me with my momentum with that game. And I love Hades 2. Over the winter break, I want to go and I want to roll credits on it. I'm clamoring for it, but not beating it is a personal sin of mine to put it at number 6 with Keeper. Dad, what's your honorable mention?
Well, anybody that knows me knows that I'm the biggest Gears of War fan in the world. So I had to crowbar in to my list, Gears of War Reloaded. Now, to be fair to it, I played it on the PlayStation, which I felt dirty. Just to get that out there. I really did. Like I felt dirty picking up that controller and looking at it on the PS5. But with the haptic feedback and the way that they played, it was a unique experience for me. It was a newer experience for me. It ran better on the PS5 than it did on the Xbox, which hurts me to say because I bleed green. I 100% bleed green. But I had to crowbar that in. And anytime Gears comes out with anything, it's going to be on my list in one way, shape, or form. So
I had to tell him not to put that game of the year. I'm like, dude, it's like.
Well, he was busting my chops because I ended up playing. You talk about a palate cleanser. I ended up playing Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Oh, okay.
And he's like, "You're going to put that on there. You're going to put that." He was busting my chops the whole time playing it. But it was a nice palate cleanser. I kind of laid back, coming from my era where you like that claymation. It was like playing it.
Oh, it was in claymation? Like
yeah, it looks just like,
and all that.
Yeah, it looks pretty good like that. And I had to play it. It was on the Xbox store, Play Store. I got it actually I first saw it. I bought it for the Switch 2. And then Kobie's like, that's on Xbox. So I'm like, I'm an achievement whore too. So I had to jump on and download it. And he's like, "What are you playing?" I said, "Man, I can't stop this. I got to
mind your business. You got to lead Santa's sleigh."
The next round of giveaways are in the chat for Keeper, Xbox Play Anywhere, and Steam editions. Have at it, have fun, and happy collecting it. All right, that's our honorable mentions. Colt, I want to come back to you. What is your number 5 game of the year?
Oh, let me look at the list. Let me look at my list. Okay. Arc Raiders.
Okay.
Arc Raiders, I really, really like it. I've got 80 hours in the game. I'm kind of done now. I play occasionally with friends, but it looked cool when it was first shown, but I really think it's unique that it's the Wild West, hand on the holster when you're out playing the game with friends. I've met some of the coolest random people. The cooperative part, the randomized cooperative chunk of Arc Raiders is pure magic. It just really makes being online playing with other people an amazing experience that really it's just really unique. And then of course the PvP, the competitive stuff is really hair raising. So just a really quality game from this studio that has only made one other game as far as I know. They made the finals, but yes. Arc Raiders is my number 5.
Shemplu asks, Arc Raiders really shallow, very repetitive, ? A
little bit. Yeah, it is. It's only unique when you run into people and they're like, hey, you're friendly. And you're like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just doing this one thing here in the hospital. And the guy's like, oh yeah, if you go over to this one place, you can find this one thing for your quest. And he's just some random guy talking to me on the open mic, which is really, really cool. And then the crazy shootouts you can get into makes a very shallow game more interesting. And hopefully they don't change anything about it, because I think they have an absolute magic formula right now.
I agree.
I kind of said they've taken Rust and Call of Duty and had a kid, and that's what this is.
Yeah.
Kind of. I do want to hop in because my number 5 game of the year is also Arc Raiders. Never in a million years did I think an extraction shooter would become one of my favorite games of the year. And I keep asking myself, how did Arc Raiders pull this off? It rewrote my perception of a genre I've always had a complicated, mostly negative relationship with. The Tarkovs I do not like. Hunt Showdown I like somewhat, but I never really fell in love with it. And after 75 hours, like you said, Colt, I'm still discovering new things. I'm hitting fresh milestones, and I'm stumbling into some of the most bombastic moments I've had in games this year. Like you said, with the people interactions, it is some of the craziest things I've come across. You'll meet some of the most hostile people, or for example, you'll just see a guy walking around with a recorder, a flute, and he's just playing, and he's like, hello, gentlemen, how are you? And he's just like, it's so fun. And I think Arc Raiders is a genuine feat for the genre because, to me, extraction shooters has always been built for the hardcore crowd, but this one has managed to open the door much wider without sanding off what makes the genre compelling. And it came at it with very deliberate care, appealing to, the hardcore sweats, the casuals, and anyone in between. And like you said, I think the combat's invigorating. I think the stealth sections have real weight and tension. And I think the world is dripping with style, with its retro futuristic tech and aesthetics. Yeah, I agree. I really hope that Arc Raiders continues to stay, and multiplayer lives and dies by its content. And Embark needs to continue to provide.
Yeah.
Baron, what's your number 5?
So, shout out to 61 Indie. They had us be a part of a judge in the Indie Game Awards that's coming up. And there's a game that I got to check out called The King is Watching, an indie roguelike title. Slay the Spire ruined me in the sense of it turned me down the path of roguelike experiences. And then, and this game here, first off, I'm a pixel art junkie. This game is just so ridiculous. So the way the tiles that are lit up, which is the gaze of the king, that's the only thing that's going to be activated as you're building and utilizing and running in this world. And you start off with 100 health, your castle, and then as weeks pass by, enemies are raiding in, and you're fighting everything from goblins to dragons. And you have to build up your kingdom, and you get limited resources, and the resources are RNG. Like, you may get that one thing you need, whether it's a winery to build up the morale, which increases the attack damage. It's like a perfect solid blend of medieval RPG and roguelike. And it's just such a unique experience with the whole Tetris pieces and it's seriously an intense moment, because you'll be attacked by a strong enemy. They'll kill all your forces, but you're over here trying to build up enough water to spawn another soldier. But you just it's so much that goes into it, and I've lost so many times. But I feel like a game where you can lose a lot and still have a great time in it. And that reminds me of think of an Arc Raiders. Like, how is it, I'm getting wiped all the time, but yet I still want to jump back in.
Yeah.
And that's this game is, oh man, if you're into roguelikes, and then the art style, like, come on, look at that. Look how weird that is.
It is very bizarre.
Yes. But yeah, the king is watching.
Colt and Dad, have you heard of this game at all?
I have not. I never heard of it.
Nope.
Yes. It feels good.
Dad, what's your number 5?
My number 5 came from one of the viewers on here, Shamplu. He got me into the Bloodline 2. Now, I never played Bloodline 1. And why I like this game is, and it's going to sound weird, but it's almost a noir. It's a cross between, action adventure noir, and basically the story is, and it's based in Seattle, which I like, for the fact that Kobie and I are like, hey, we've seen this, and they took some liberties at Seattle, but basically you're a vampire, and I like vampires, so it's a vampire story where you're an elder that wakes up. You don't know why it woke up, but when he wakes up, there's a dead vampire-esque in his head, so he hears the voice, and that dead vampire was a vampire not reporter but investigator, worked for the police but worked under the vampire realm, and it jumps back and forth, and nobody knows why they're there. Like the elder doesn't know why they're there. The investigator doesn't know why they're there. So you jump back and forth with this noir feeling with him jumping in the past, his storyline, but finding the elder's storyline, and there's a weird path that crosses of why it's there. But I really enjoyed this game. I've played through it 1.5 times, and it wasn't a white knuckler through the entire thing, but it was enough to keep you involved in it. The story wasn't a high level story, but was good enough to keep you invested in it. And I like that dark Seattle, vampire vibe within the whole thing.
Colt, Baron, do you have any inklings of checking this out, or is this game just going to be kind of forever backlog, or not even go near it?
No, I'm gonna buy it now. Like, I've been hesitant. I still have my, the Game Informer issue where it was on the cover and all that other fun stuff. I gotta check it out now. Like that. Like I get the noir junkie. Like like a good wait. Do they have like the old timey speak? Like, oh, I'm walking down Seattle. The blood doesn't bleed like it used to.
They do.
Just ripping cigarettes left and right.
And they do that. That's why I like.
I'll check it out.
I like the noir side of it as well. So if I'm not mistaken, the guy jumps back. It might have jumping back to the 50s. If it's not somewhere within there, but it feels that way if it's not. And the great part is, and I think Colt, you would appreciate this. It never really snows in Seattle, but this whole game is set in the snow in Seattle. But when you run by the NPCs, you'll hear them say like, "Oh my goodness, it's snowing in Seattle, and it never snows here." So it's got that, but it's definitely worth the playthrough.
Yeah, except we just have a big rainstorm coming through now. So yes. But Cole, do you have any interest in Bloodlines 2?
Yeah, my good friend Red Wolf Renegade, who has a podcast and a channel that covers games like this, he's in love with it, and he's always telling me you got to play it. And I like that sort of thing, so it's probably something I should check out.
Gadgets in the chat says, where in Seattle is it set? It's like Pioneer Square, right? And International District.
Kind of everywhere, because it's kind of Pioneer that's definitely in there. And then it's like right next to Chinatown. And then they take liberties to push some other parts of it in. So it's not a real 1-for-1 scale. They took elements of Seattle and kind of pushed them together. But there's a lot in Pioneer Square. In fact, there's the big building. The totem there that's Pioneer Square and everything. So, but yeah, it's worth playing if you know anything about Seattle, and even if you don't, it's worth it.
Paul, I want to go back to you.
Infamous Second Son.
Oh yeah, yeah. What a great game. Paul, I want to go back to you now. What is your number 4 of the year?
Number 4, Doom: The Dark Ages.
Okay, let's hear it.
Yeah. Not my favorite Doom game, but this year it was one of those games I really enjoyed. Doom: The Dark Ages was a fun, crazy, chaotic game. So I got to play it early, which was really exciting to play that game and see him shift the change. Like they kind of just made it a totally different style. Yeah. So the one thing that I really enjoyed about Doom: The Dark Ages was stand and fight. And stand and parry the attacks of enemies, which is something you didn't do in a Doom game before. But it also feels very Doom 1 more than anything. Like it's Doom game. It's more like the original Doom game from '93 with some modern stuff in it. But yeah, I really enjoyed Doom: The Dark Ages. I thought that the robot and the dragon sections would be way cooler. They're the lowest part of the game. I think the rest of the game's awesome. They probably could have made those a 3-minute robot thing, 3-minute dragon, one and done. Hey, here's something to kind of mix it up. But they brought him in a couple times, and it does all right. But yeah, the rest of the game is pretty awesome.
It's funny. I've always considered Doom to be like one of my favorite franchises, if not my favorite franchise of all time. And Doom Eternal, I think, is like probably the best FPS campaign of all time. I love Eternal, and I agree with you. This is a step down for me significantly. I do still really enjoy the game. I think it's like a 7 or an 8. And it's funny. the shipping company screwed up, and I was able to play early too because I got my collector's edition like 4 days early. And I'm like, I'm gonna pop in the disc and see what happens. And I was playing, and no achievements were popping, but I was able to roll through the campaign. But Colt, I want to ask you, because I think Doom: The Dark Ages did something very spectacular this year. How would you feel about the accessibility options and pretty much making it your own Doom experience?
They were awesome. What you need to do is speed up the entire game. After I was finished with the game, I went back to play a bunch of levels at the fastest speed. And I was like, wow, this is how it should be, because the parrying was way too forgiving. So yeah, having all those sliders was really, really great. You could, some stuff that was cheap, you could move it down. The stuff that needed to be sped up, you could make it more difficult, and it made that way more enjoyable. Yeah. And Doom: The Dark Ages takes my top 5 of the year, but Doom 2016 is my favorite. Like, I even like it even more than Eternal because of Eternal's parkour stuff that drove me crazy. That's the only thing that keeps me wanting to play Doom Eternal again. But they're great games, and Doom Dark Ages is pretty awesome. And I love the medieval weapons. It was cool.
Our ongoing joke here is that I'm the old man, and you start to slow down in your reflexes, and I need the difficulty slider. So that's why I actually like this Doom, because it was slower. The Eternal was just too fast for me anymore. I used to play those games, but it's just at the point where your mind says move and your thumb says now. And it just doesn't work that way for me anymore. So I like that it slowed down. I like that I was able to go in, and we had a podcast before about the whole Souls-like, which I'm still going to coin that, because I think everybody throws that around for any game. Oh, it's Souls-like, it's Souls-like. And I'm going to coin that. But to me, that's why I can't jump into the Souls-like games, because I love them, but they need to put a difficulty slider. And we had a whole podcast about that debate.
We're not rehashing it here.
We're not going to rehash it. But I like Doom because they let me play it the way I wanted to play it. That's what I really liked about those options. And Baron, what were your thoughts on it?
I haven't touched Doom since it's been forever. It just the anything remotely bullet hell, I'm usually not like, I just don't have the flow. I don't know if maybe with the sliders I might have to actually check it out, or maybe the game's natural pacing, this may be built more for someone like me. But it just it's a lot going on. As I play games like Battlefield and Call of Duty, but even this new but that's beside the point. But yeah,
but you would like it then, because again, and I didn't come up with this, but they said Eternal was like fighting with a fighter jet, and Doom was like fighting as a tank. And
okay,
like it slowed it down, and like Colt said, like you were able to stand and fight, which I liked, and so forth, that it wasn't this massively fast paced. But I do agree with Bombay in the chat, like, give me any Doom soundtrack, man. If that doesn't get you pumped up and get your heart racing, nothing will. So I think that's the appeal of it as well.
Baron, what's your number 4, man?
Number 4, I'm gonna say Battlefield 6.
Okay.
And I'm a Battlefield junkie. I was introduced to Battlefield 2 Bad Company, and that changed the way I interacted with shooters, and just the destructibility and being able to take down a building, enemies are coming in and dropping C4, like being able to but that destructibility and just the randomness of like a war experience where it's every moment feels like a movie, like that is one of the coolest things ever. My biggest worry with this game is putting, and as weird as it sounds, this is going to sound extremely weird, but giving too much power to the players in terms of like the portal. From day one, when they announced that with Battlefield 2042, I believe, I thought it was not the best idea, simply because you're going to spread your player base so thin, and perception is reality. Me and Kobie, actually, me and you we've had this talk.
Yeah.
And it's starting to become the thing where you got people screenshotting online talking about, hey, this lobby's empty, I'm playing with nothing but bots, and when you got enough people saying something's dead, all of a sudden enough people start believing it. And it just they have such a great thing, and they just spread everybody out so thin. When you have a large amount of game modes at launch, but then on top of that, you know, I'm sounding like why I shouldn't like the game. Let me tell you why I love it. It's a movie. It's a playable movie. It is Black Hawk Down at its peak. Like all these moments in the trailer, you seriously can experience, and it'll never play out the same way. You'll jump out of a helicopter and all of a sudden a tank will run you over, or you'll throw C4 at a tank and then take off around a corner and blow it up. And then all of a sudden another vehicle like from 5 minutes ago will run over one of your landmines and you'll take down a helicopter. Like this is all in one game mode, one map, one game, one match. And it to be able to create a constant movie experience, that's why Battlefield 6 is definitely up there for me.
That's awesome. I just want to quick pull in a couple chats. Shemplu going back to the Doom stuff, saying not kind of like you, Baron, has not enjoyed Doom games in a while. Shit, to them it is dark corridors, etc., but it's something else now. And also Shemplu didn't care for the heavy metal soundtrack, which is interesting. Is
that's like the spirit of it.
Yeah, and then Colt, someone in the chat, maybe you know them. Fonz Gaming says you love hot dogs without the bun.
Absolutely.
I think I see Fonz on your podcasts. He's on your podcasts, right?
Yeah, he was on my podcast a couple weeks ago. I think. Yeah, he came in and we did an hour together after the show.
Wow.
Yeah, it's funny. We joke about Game Pass a lot because Game Pass has been really incredible this year, but for many years Game Pass has been pretty rough, and I've complained about it quite a lot. But I've really realized that I buy and play far more games outside of Game Pass than I used to, and that's probably because Xbox has more games available. So I'm just like buying the games. I'm not playing like all of the games that Game Pass provides. You know, like they used to have all these little gems that have come in. I don't play those as often anymore because I'm actually playing bigger games, and so Game Pass is kind of a weird divisive thing, especially with the price hike. People have been really frustrated.
You're not, just so you know, Colt, you're not offending anybody on this podcast.
I'm not worried about that.
Working with Game Pass, I don't know. Might be working on other stuff.
But
no, I'm not worried. I mean, I've publicly called out Game Pass's, anemic offering for a long time, but now most of the stuff that Game Pass offers is from Xbox Studios. Pretty crazy, like 10 games this year, and this year's already been pretty packed. So and Battlefield, everyone was playing Battlefield online. I was playing I can't remember what I was playing. Outer Worlds. I think I was reviewing Outer Worlds when Battlefield came out. So I was going to jump on Battlefield to play the campaign, but Baron, I haven't heard anybody like really praise the campaign, and I really love those campaigns. Am I going to like it?
It was bad.
The cliffhanger was a little rough too.
It just, you know what it felt like, and I did a review on it in past podcasts. It felt like anytime you do a tutorial in front of the game, it was a 5-hour tutorial.
Yep.
Like when you play Call of Duty and it says shoot the helmet off of the stick and pick up a grenade and throw it, it was just a long tutorial.
It's set pieces strung together by nothingness.
Yeah, and then the rail, like you're on rails. And there's moments, and I thought it was just like the internet being the internet, but there really is moments where you're driving and you'll slow down. So it gives you a chance to engage with the enemy as you're like in a high speed chase. It's super weird.
I love the one because they wanted to show off, and you got to be stupid not to see it. They wanted to show off the destructibility of the buildings. So you're literally in a tank going down this long corridor with nothing but buildings on each side. You can't turn, and the tank slows down because there's a building in front of you for you to do the destruction.
Do the thing. Press the button.
I love you, Colt. I love those. Like you go back to all of them. I love the Battlefield campaigns. I thought they were some of the best. Yeah. And I think Battlefield would have carried on even more so multiplayer if it wasn't for Ark. I think Ark took a lot of those players.
I mean, I was gonna say, just for the essence of time, we gotta move on a bit. I liked Battlefield. I got burnt out on Battlefield. I played way too much of it, and I'm like, yeah, like it's great game. It's back to the formula, but I don't know. There was just something that stopped me from. Dad, what was your number 4 of the year?
In the interest of time, because my number 4 I know is on Colt's list, which is Avowed. I thought Avowed was great. I thought Obsidian really came to the plate this whole year, 2025. I know it got a lot of flack about, oh, it's too colorful. I enjoyed it. But in the interest of time, and people didn't come to hear me here, they came to hear Colt. I'll let you kind of talk about what you thought Avowed was.
Yeah, well, that kind of like rolls into this is crazy. Well, I mean, this is me. Avowed is my number 1.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna go for Avowed. I loved Avowed so much. When I got early access, a preview for Avowed, they gave us the first area of the game, but you could only do like 2 missions. But you could free roam around and do all kinds of stuff in the open world. So I spent like 18 hours in what was supposed to be a 1-hour preview. And when I got my hands on the full game, I absolutely loved it. It's a fantastic RPG. And I think it's some of the best first-person melee combat I have ever played. The hit drag, the sound design, the different weapons with the elements, and the way you could have like Hogwarts Legacy was so great, but it was doing things even better than Hogwarts Legacy because you had true melee combat, you had ranged combat, magic, and everything, and the world was just so enjoyable to explore. The collectibles you find, the gear, and the way you upgraded your character and your gear, and the companions having, Garrus Vakarian as one of your main companions, and then this little like colorful Gizmo character with Yahtzee. I absolutely loved Avowed. And when I think about all the great games I played, there was one that just continually just made me happy when I was playing it. And I have a few friends that couldn't stand the game, and I know people dog on it because if it's not over an 83, it's absolute trash. But Avowed, it was one of the most enjoyable games I played this year, and I loved it. It should have been more mature, and I think Obsidian needs to do a more mature and gritty, maybe a more dark game next time around. But Avowed was absolutely fantastic, and I will not apologize for loving that game.
I loved it as well, and you brought up a great point because this is a point of contention between Kobie and I. I can't stand Metascores because when they say that it's a 94, I hate the game. When they say that it's a 72, I absolutely love the game. So I never look at the Metascores. I think Metacritics are all jaded in my opinion because I absolutely loved Avowed as well. I just thought it was fresh. I didn't mind the colors. I thought the Obsidian brought it and added that grittiness and needed to be colorful. I thought it added to it. I like you, loved this. I played through this and just wanted more by the end of it. I thought the dialogue, there's only one beef I had about the whole thing. I could not stand the animation every time you came out of the camp. Every time you would be in your camp and do your stuff, they would do the animation where you had to sit and lay on the rock, lay back on the rock. And I couldn't stand the animation, and you couldn't fast forward through it. That was my only gripe about it. But
my gripe was there was no cinematic production quality to the game. Everything was fantastic except for when it was time to tell the story. It was like these 2D hand-painted vignettes. I'm like, what are you doing? You have these incredible character models, and almost nothing is motion captured in the game. People don't realize this. This is like a long lost art that still makes games so varied and so organic, where every character, every time they spoke, he was using procedural mouth programming. Like you didn't have people with painted dots that were acting out each and every character. So when you're talking to characters, they could look like however they want. And then the lip syncing was pretty accurate, kind of like Starfield. Starfield's same thing. And so you get this really cool RPG. And I'm like, why didn't you guys take the time? They should have delayed the game another year to give it cinematics, because you had this god that was speaking to you, and it was all in this like watercolor paint. Every time I got in those story moments, I'm like, you're ruining it. You're sucking all the life out of this incredible visual. That's what kept me from giving Avowed over an 8.5, because most games go just a couple extra steps and make a really great cinematic story to go with a wonderful open world with excellent gameplay.
Not that I make any excuses, but Obsidian pumped out a lot in 2025, so maybe they were looking to cut some corners.
And Avowed was made by one of their smaller teams. You know, there's probably 100 or a couple hundred people that were core working on the game, and the rest of Obsidian was working on Outer Worlds, which is also on our list. So,
I do want to get into a little bit of Avowed with you, because I loved Avowed. Like I do think it didn't make my top 5, but I think it made my like top 12 games of the year. I thought it definitely got an unfair shake at a certain point. You know, I agree with you. I think this is the best melee combat that can be found in a RPG of this style. I do think Avowed had unrealistic expectations set against it. I think people were expecting Elder Scrolls, and it's just by design, not Elder Scrolls. Now, I will say, and Paul, I think you'll agree because it's right behind you, compare like the dialogue compared to New Vegas is like severely lacking. Like I do think like in terms of character interactions, the story, the world building, I think New Vegas is Obsidian at its S tier. Like it does not get better than that. I just think, you know, people are like, oh my God, this is an Obsidian RPG. They're also following up the Outer Worlds, which people really loved. I think there was just a lot of expectations set that were really high. And I think it sits at an 80 on Metacritic, and 80 is still good. I know we have this scale that anything that's an 80 is hit nowadays. You have to get like it's such a weird spectrum that we're on in terms of a gaming society. But I agree. I really liked Avowed. I think the thing that severely hurt it for me was that ending. It just ends. Like you kill the bad guy, and then it's a slideshow saying, "Here's what here's what
it went full Fallout 3. It went Fallout 3.
Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas did that. But you know, when you talk about dialogue, like hard hitting, really memorable dialogue, you know, people say, "Oh, you're looking at rose tinted glasses when you think about Fallout New Vegas." I've been playing Fallout New Vegas over the past couple months, and I will sit in dialogue, and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, this could still work. Like, this is still good." 15 years later, I'm not looking back like, "Oh yeah, it was really great when Fallout New Vegas came out." It's still really, really great. Those characters and the things they say, the mature things that they'll say, or the dark, very dark things that they'll say, and desperate. It's really, really good. Really good writing, and that's Chris Avallone, who isn't with Obsidian anymore.
And like
him and Josh did a lot of that.
Bonds in the chat says different devs and writers at Obsidian since New Vegas, which is true. But like the thing of the dialogue, the last thing I'll say is, you know, like if I say truth is the game was already rigged from the start, like people are gonna know what that comes from. I was just about to say, like, so New Vegas has that legs. It has that longevity with it. And I'm curious to see as years go on, even when like if there's an Avowed 2 that ever happens, what the conversation around Avowed is going to be within the next 1 to 5 years, and how people are going to
Avowed 2 will happen. They're working on it. So
I'm gonna tell you. I'm sorry. No, go ahead.
Go ahead. No.
Honestly, what I loved, because I didn't finish Avowed, not because it wasn't good. It's just there's too many dang games to play. But it felt like the busy man's RPG. In the most respectable way possible. I hope that didn't come off as like it was right. Like, no, as somebody who's busy with a lot to do, you know, kids running around, it felt like a game that I can get a lot out of. If you could go somewhere, there's probably something to get there. They like, you know, I hate when I go behind a waterfall and there's not a treasure chest or a piece of lore or something. Like, that's one of the worst things ever. But there is a treasure chest. If you can get to the roof, there's a chest up there. If you can get
every time,
if you could get to that thing, there's an item there that's worthwhile. Like, I truly appreciate it. Or even like when you're in the sewer of that shanty town and you get the ring, like there is a lot there, and it felt like there was always a story being told. There was always something engaging you, and that's and to do it in a way where it didn't feel cumbersome or I didn't feel like it overstayed or like, oh, another side quest. Like, no, it, you know, helping the family get out of the town. Like it just there, and that was all early game, folks. Like that's like before you even get into the first major city or the major hub. Like there's a lot of good story there. And I felt like they really respected people's time.
Yeah. And the other thing I want to quickly point out, Fawn says that Avowed does have all the Pillars of Eternity lore behind it as well. That also went over many people's heads. That is true. There is a lot around Avowed. Yeah, I mean, I didn't fully understand the Pillars lore either, but I think from the people who do, they said, oh, that was pretty cool. But in the interest of time for you, Colt, because I know you do have another podcast to get to, what is your number 3 of the year?
Oh, yeah. Assassin's Creed Shadows. It was really good. I was hoping it would be good, but I really enjoyed it. It was a fun game. Naoe was really cool, the classic ninja Tenchu type thing. And then I wasn't sure if I would like, you know, the combat style of oh gosh. I wanted to call him Yahtzee.
Oh, Yasuke. You're talking about Yasuke. I was like,
Yasuke, yeah, I wanted to call him Yahtzee for a second from Avowed. And then my mind like complete. I loved him. He was just this brutal samurai, and he was so respectful. He was quiet and humble, but he just tore down doors. He's like skewering enemies, and he just loved the country he was living in. I thought the game was so cool. There was a lot of there was too much to do.
Oh yeah,
I got 100 hours. There was too much. Like it just became overwhelming. Just like Valhalla did, another game I really liked. But yeah, Assassin's Creed Shadows, gorgeous. Combat was awesome. Just really nice touching moments in there from both characters. So that was the top one for me. I love open world games, so that's an easy pick.
I finished Shadows this year, and this was one of my more disappointing games of the year. Sorry, it's just like I've been begging for a feudal Japan Assassin's Creed for the longest time. And obviously Ghost of Tsushima came out, and I was like, oh, that scratches the itch. Rise of the Ronin.
They had 2 games to beat them to the punch.
I think with Shadows for me, Colt, is I agree with you. The combat, I think, is some of the best Assassin's Creed combat. I love the 2 characters. I got so fed up with the amount of content and the amount of grinding that I had to do to experience the story. And I do think the one thing that really bothered me was how they essentially locked the true leveling system behind a microtransaction paywall. Because like you can, there's a microtransaction that you can get XP boost. It's like, okay, and it's permanent. I'm like, okay, so that's like the true leveling there. You're making me grind a little bit extra. Oh, you want me to pay for some extra stuff on the map? That really kind of disappointed me a little bit. But I think the narrative throughput was good enough that like, at the end of the day, I still enjoyed Assassin's Creed. I just had a lot of issues with it. And I think it's another game that the trolls on the internet were going way too hard on. It got a little annoying to be on the internet, but I do think I agree. The two characters.
It's always annoying to be on the internet. Doesn't matter what game you're talking about.
The 2 characters were amazing. I will just say this, though. I did load it up the other day because one of my favorite animes of all time, Attack on Titan, got a collaboration. That thing was ass. It was a bad collaboration.
Oh, that's what that was that everyone was making fun of? I was like, what in the world? How does this...
Cold seeing this,
and it's an iconic anime, and they dropped the ball that hard. It was memed for like 2 weeks.
It was like, dude, some of the cutscenes in it, it's like a zoom in of Yasuke with like computer generated animations going, oh. Like the Titan having just poorly rigged animations. That hurt my soul so much. And you can't even get the scout outfit without buying it. So I'm like, this is ridiculous.
That's awful.
I am. Assassin's Creed's one of my favorite franchises, and it's the only Assassin's Creed I didn't finish. I just didn't care for it. I didn't like when you had to run around to find somebody, to find the secret, to know where you're going to go next.
Ooh.
Like that drove me insane. Like you had to go into a town, and then you had to find a guy that was going to be beat up or whatever, and he'll do a favor for you, and he listens to people. Then they tell you where to go.
Well, you could change that. Like that,
Yeah.
that was the narrative versus the regular. Otherwise, you could complain and say the game only just gives you a waypoint and you just beeline it to the waypoint.
No.
So they were trying to give you
this
like,
was the okay, because
Yeah,
I haven't
yeah.
played it. I haven't played it. It just once there's so many games, man.
Yeah,
there's
there
just
is.
so many games.
Which I've said before, Baron, this is a good place to be. I'd
Yeah.
rather there be too many. And we've said in past podcasts, I have never had a backlog list like I have now. Like I just have massive games. And in all of my gaming, I've never played more than one game at a time. Like I had to finish it or quit it and move on to the next. Like I'm juggling Steam games right now. I'm juggling PlayStation games, Xbox games, and Switch 2 games at the same time. I've never done that before because there is too many games, but it's a good place to be.
Yes.
Yep. And then Colt, number 2.
Outer Worlds 2. Outer Worlds 2. Yeah. Loved it. It felt more like a classic. They were really trying hard to make it more like a classic Obsidian game. And they did. It's just such a bright and colorful game that it could have been more moody and darker, but that's not what Outer Worlds 2 is. But the combat was 2 times improved, like they said. It really was. The world was bigger. There was more organic exploration and questing. So I really enjoyed Outer Worlds 2. That's my number 2. Really, really fun game.
That's all. I
Yeah.
started to play it. It just unfortunately came out at the wrong time for me. It's a game that I plan on investing in once I have some time off and fully go into it. The 2 to 3 hours I played of it was really cool. I liked it a lot. And I think this, because I'm much more of a sci-fi person than I am a fantasy person, so I think I'm going to enjoy my time with this a little bit more than Avowed. I never played Outer Worlds 1. It's a gaming sin of mine. It's another one where it came out. I was in college. I just didn't have time to really sit down and invest in an RPG of that length. But I'm happy that now, I'm not in college and I can invest a little bit more time into Outer Worlds 2. And this just seems like an absolute blast to play.
To me, I absolutely loved Outer Worlds 1. Loved it. Outer Worlds 2, I put about 2 hours into it, and kind of like Kobie, I got sidetracked with other stuff. It didn't grab me right away. And I will try to go back and play this, but I was obsessed with Outer Worlds 1.
Outer Worlds 1, I did play the heck out of. Rolled credits on that bad boy. Not the cheap way either, for those who know. But I have not played Outer Worlds 2 yet. Like there's just so in the Marvel Rivals. I gotta put my real sin out there. It's Marvel Rivals. That's eating up all my damn time. I have an issue. My community makes fun of me about it. People on the team, on level 1 team, they make fun of me about it. I'm probably getting messages now about where you at. It's Galactus needs us. Like, the moon.
That's awesome.
The moon haunts you. Yeah.
Well, Colt, that is your top 5 games of the year. Once again, stack list. And I know you have another podcast to get to, so I just want to thank you for joining. And I just want to ask you a simple question before you hop off. What does game of the year really even mean to you? Because I know like game of the year is such a large topic. There's so many debates, is it quality? Is it subjectiveness? Is it sales? So I want to just for our audience, for your audience, for everyone joining later, when you picked Avowed, like why was that your game of the year? What made that your game of the year? So like what is your embodiment of it?
Game of the year in the universal definition is everyone gets it wrong. Game of the year is for the developer or the studio. And we always think of game of the year as for like the platform fans or for the W for the console that made the game. But the game of the year award that Jeff Keighley gives out, or the other game of the year awards, that is for those developers. That's their trophy. That's their plaque for creating a game that more people love than the rest of the games. So I think that's what game of the year is. But game of the year could also mean your personal favorite game that you played. And if it was Marvel Rivals, and I mean, Baron's game of the year could probably be, if you look at how many times he played it and how much he loves it and his allegiance to that game, And that would be
Please don't clip this. Please.
Oh, clip it, Jack. Clip it. Send it to his audience.
I mean, the other problem with Game of the Year is I don't think Game of the Year has ever been my favorite Game of the Year. When I look at since 2013 or 2014 when they started, when you look at Dragon Age Inquisitions, Overwatch, I can't remember, like Last of Us Part 1, all these games were not my favorite game that year. Red Dead Redemption 2 was my absolute favorite game of many years in 2018, and it didn't win Game of the Year. God of War did. So everybody's totally different. So what Game of the Year means to me is, what game do I love the most? Did I get the most joy out of? And Avowed was absolutely the game that I loved. I love open world games. I love RPGs. I love that. I love leveling up my character and finding loot and crafting and doing all this. And that did all those things. And so that's what makes Avowed my Game of the Year. And most people would hear that would laugh their heads off, because Expedition 33 was fantastic. Kingdom Come Deliverance. I even played Kingdom Come Deliverance for a few hours. I'm like, I just don't get it.
That's fair.
I'm not getting into this, but I knew it was quality. Like when I was playing, I'm like, this is the most high quality game, but it's just not clicking with me. And gaming is so crazy because there are games like Hades 2. I don't like that game. People love it to death. And I sit back in the sidelines and go, I am so glad you love Hades 2, because that makes you so happy that you're playing that game and you love it. And these developers are getting all their accolades for a game. And I don't have to love the same thing. And I think that's what people have completely lost the plot on. They'll say things like, this is the best game this year. I'm like, no, you can say this one is the most popular, or this one won the most awards. But sometimes you just need to say, this is my favorite game this year.
Sure.
Instead of everyone pushes their opinion as a universal junction on everyone else. And that's what Game of the Year means to me. That's my definition.
Well, again, Game of the Year is subjective. It's always subjective.
Yeah.
And to me, I'm with you. Like Expedition 33 is going to win it, in my opinion. And I'm not a turn-based guy either. I am like you. I'm an open world guy. I like to play the game at my pace. I like to roam. One of the big things that really appeals to me in video games is I like to take my time and admire the work that these devs put in. Like, I'm weird like that. I tell everybody I like looking at water, I like looking at fire, and I like looking at hair. They're the three things that I look for, because it is such an art, in my opinion, that if I put my head down and speed run through this, just because I want to finish the game, I'm not doing these devs any justice. People create art for other people to enjoy and to appreciate. And if you're going to speed run it just because you want to finish the game, then I just don't think that game was for you, because it's not being appreciated. I like taking and putting 150 hours in a game that I love playing. And that's the key. That to me, it echoes and resonates with me what you just said, Colt, because I've always said that. To me, I've never been the Game of the Year, Baldur's Gate, I've never been what they're claiming. But what I do with the top games like that are nominated, I put them on my list to try to see what the hype is.
Yeah.
Shemplu says, gaming community, present company excluded, is largely immature, snot-nosed kids.
That's why I stopped playing online, because I got tired of getting teabagged by 12-year-olds.
Oh my! I don't even go into game chat anymore, and that's
Colt, once again, I know you got to head out here, so thank you so much for joining. We really appreciate you joining the Father and Son Gaming Podcast. Everyone, thank you for coming in. We're going to transition over to Baron, my dad, and I. I'm going to throw up your socials once more, Colt. And once again, thank you for joining, and hope to see you again at some point.
Yeah, hopefully we can have you on again.
Game Awards, Colt? I'm going to see you there?
We'll see. I'm
okay
on something. We'll see. We'll see.
All right.
It's been a crazy week. It's already crazy. Yeah.
Alrighty,
I live
Colt.
my life one day at a time. I really do. I don't even know what's going on.
Let's go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be there. Baron's gonna be there, so hope to see you there.
Awesome.
Well, we can figure out the statue in person, and then we can all either cheer or be like, "What the fuck?"
Like, What do you mean an
Banjo
MMO based
Kazooie?
out of Oh, I would
Well,
be good buddy.
if the statue was Banjo Kazooie, you're going to see Paris Lily rip chairs out from
Oh yeah,
from the
yeah.
stage and start just cheering.
he
with
would
them.
love that.
Yeah,
1,000,000%.
Alrighty, Colt. Have a great rest of your night and a good podcast episode. And once again,
Thank you,
fellas,
guys.
thank you. You can follow him right on these socials right here. So go and check him out. All right. It's us three. Baron, we left off with you at number 3. So what is your number 3 game of the year?
I wanna talk real quick about the game of the year conversation, right?
All right, yeah, go
because I see you got your Metal Gear on. I got my Foxhound logo. Kojima, God bless him. I always tell people this, and they either look at me really weird or they completely understand. When I think of Metal Gear Solid, I don't think about the gameplay. I think about the story.
Yes.
And I remember just wanting to get to the next moment. I wanted to know, who's Gray Fox? Who's this? What is that giant thing out in the distance? What the heck's a Metal Gear Rex? I remember I remember that was always that driving force, and that's what I thought of. That is always my rough comparison when I think of Expedition 33. But getting to the next point, you said which number?
Number 3.
Number 3. I would say, and only because I have not finished it, because I got caught up crafting and breaking into other stores and taking their materials and selling it so I can buy more stuff and gamble. And that's Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Okay.
The amount of so I love open world games as well. I love crafting. I love in-game gambling. The amount of hours I put into freaking, what was that? Was it poker in Red Dead 2?
Yeah.
Oh my god. And then even online, we would sit up in Discord and so the dice game in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and then the ability to go out and come across dice that have different perks, and then you get a perfect hand and you got a cheat dice, and the amount of time I've spent in that game, and then getting the rhythm. And as Henry of Skalitz is sitting there whistling as you're blacksmithing like your father did, and it just and then I love that the game literally starts hours after the first one. So that's definitely one of those games I tell people, please go play the first one. Go play it. One, it's a lot cheaper, and the game's not for everybody. It is a medieval simulator.
Yes.
It is a medieval sim. You're not going to be able to button mash your way through it. You have to take showers. You have to mend your clothes. You have to make sure to eat. You have to make sure to there's things you have to do. And then if you're caught walking around town without a torch, you can get banned from the city or get thrown in the freaking, I was going to say the blockade, but the stocks, and your crimes are punished. You can be black. It is a sim, and not a cheaply made one at all. It is so much depth put into this game.
Yeah.
The melee combat is amazing.
Yes.
Having to use your knuckle as your aim for archery, because there's no reticules, because it is a medieval sim, and being able to sneak in and take out people and hide body. It's if I would have finished it, I probably would have said it'd be my number 1.
So I do want to jump first off. I just want to make sure we got your 5 and 4. Your 5 was King is Watching, and your 4 was Battlefield, right?
I'm so sorry. I didn't know they were in order. That was my fault. I just sent you a list of games.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
No,
I'm so
good.
sorry. I hope I'm not
good.
throwing, because I can read it in order. That's cool.
If you need me to. Your number 5 was King is Watching, right? And then your number 4 was
King is Watching, Battlefield, and then
Kingdom Come. Okay, because I missed my 4, because my 4 is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, and I fully finished that game. And the thing that I wanted to say here is, what if I told you all there is a very mechanically rich, in-depth RPG that takes the tone of Monty Python and the Holy Grail and smashes it with Braveheart. That is Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. Yeah. And I absolutely adore KCD2, and even Fonz in the chat says KCD2 is amazing. I agree. This was my number 3 of the year. However, a game, quickly, I'll get into my number 3 shortly, but when KCD1 launched, I kind of was intimidated by that game. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I hear a lot about this. I didn't really go into it. But then KCD2 came out and people started singing its praises. And I'm like, okay, let me finally dive into Trotsky and Kutenberg and let me see what it is stepping into these battered boots of Henry of Skalitz. And I'm very glad that I took that leap because it is the embodiment of why I love the RPG genre. And I think it's the best, one of the best, if not the best RPG of this decade so far, because it gives you an absurd amount of freedom, as you already talked about with, and even Bombay in the chat says, thanks for getting now the whistle stuck in my head. I hear the whistling as I'm blacksmithing.
Like, oh my God, it's so beautiful.
And the one thing that I wanted to say is there hasn't been an RPG that has struck me with the feeling I got from playing Oblivion for the first time, like KCD2. Yeah.
I wish more RPGs did this, where, like, shout out to Mountain Blade Bannerlord 2.
Mm-hmm.
War Sales just dropped. I've been enjoying the heck out of that. But a game where your skills advance, the skills that advance are the ones you use. I feel like that is the truest RPG experience you can get. You want to get good at being an alchemist? Make them potions. Like, get in the brew house, make the potions. That is how you become a top level alchemist. And I love, that's what I felt is missing in a lot of different RPGs these days. Like, you play one way, but you get to boost the stats everywhere else. I'm like, that's cool. But the real, in my opinion, the real like RPG element is when I am a great blacksmith because I spent 10 hours blacksmithing.
And that's the thing. This game like actively supports you doing whatever the hell you want. Like, I think like a lot of RPGs that kind of put these barriers around you where it's like you were just kind of mindlessly checking off skill trees.
Yes.
And KCD2, and I fully agree with you, is one of the most satisfying skill progressions. And the other thing that I want to mention is the characters that absolutely what makes KCD2, the bromance between Henry and Hans.
Oh yeah.
It's messy, funny, heartfelt. Then the ragtag chaos of the Dry Devil and his goons. And then, I think the writing, it's witty and reverent at times. And then
the pastor
is amazing.
God, he needs a movie.
Oh yeah. I mean, even doing a side quest where you go and you help out a bathhouse and it's like, oh, we got to get these ladies up and running. Like, let's go for it. Like, it's a silly game and it's also a gorgeous game. Crytek Engine is firing on all cylinders here.
It's funny. I was out in Seattle watching Kobie play it, and I'm like, yo, what are you playing? And when he fell asleep in the wrong place, I think it was, and he woke up and someone stole his boots. I'm on this. I have it loaded in my Xbox, and I never got to play it, but it's because I always take off between Christmas and New Year's. Kobie comes home, and we hang out. That is my game I'm playing over my break here because I can't wait to play this game.
And Fonz in the chat says the ending of KCD2 was also one of the most satisfying game endings I've ever experienced in my 40 plus years of gaming. I agree. The ending is super satisfying because where the game starts is where it ends. So you're building up towards.
Okay, that's all I need to hear.
And once you hit that moment, it is like that's when the Braveheart comes in. It is insane.
Can we talk about and this isn't spoiling anything? They address how, because seriously, folks, the game starts hours after the first one.
Yeah.
They address why you don't carry over all those same abilities in a super dope way. And it fits within the story and it makes sense and it doesn't feel out of place. It wasn't, not a shot at anybody. Your vault didn't get destroyed by this random king dude from space. But yeah, I was so mad about that.
Are you talking about Metroid?
I'm talking about Destiny 2.
Oh, Destiny 2.
The Vault. Oh God, dark times. But yeah, so they do a really good job of addressing everything. And then the world moves in real time. You but you don't feel pressure, but the world is moving.
Yeah.
Like the world's moving. And but it doesn't, I never felt like I was in a rush.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think before we move on to my dad and I's number 3, I will say one of my favorite quests, like one, the NPC interactions, the way that they're scripted, everything in this world feels so alive. Like it's just a masterclass in game. But one of my favorite side quests of all time is you're getting drunk, and then all of a sudden you're following a guy who's singing, and then a dog comes out of nowhere, and the dog looks at you, sits down, and goes, "What is your destiny?" And it starts speaking to you, and Henry's like, "Are you a talking dog?" And he's like, "Do you want love in your life, or do you want more alcohol?" And it's like, and Henry's like, "Huh?" Cherry Tomato Boy in the chat says Kevin has no idea what y'all are talking about right now.
It's a world. It's just. It's a Monty Python. That I didn't even think to tag that to it, and that's perfect. That is perfect.
Well, when I first started the game, I was like, "Oh, this is Shrek vibes." I'm like, "Oh, this is Shrek." Yes. I'm playing a Shrek, but then I'm like, "Actually, no. Shrek is a parody of Monty Python, so it's just same thing." But yeah, I adore KCD too, and I would love a third one, but I hope Warhorse does another setting historical fiction and just goes somewhere else in the world with the same style, but. Henry Escalus is an amazing character. I absolutely love the embodiment of him. And there are some choices in this game that are so insane. I absolutely love it. Dad, what's your number 3 of the year?
Well, again, this is kind of following along what Colt said, that it's individualistic. I had to put Oblivion Remaster in here because I'm going to start from the beginning. I didn't like the when Oblivion came out, and I know I'll get, little kickback from the audience, but the reality is I played it back then and didn't care for it when it came out, and it was obviously remastered for the new consoles. I couldn't put it down. Like, I played this, did all the side quests. I thought this game was absolutely incredible. Now, I never played Skyrim yet. Now I can't wait to play Skyrim because I fell in love with it. And the big thing that Kobie says that he likes the future sci-fi. I'm not. I like the old style. I like anything that's historic. I like medieval stuff. That's more where I land on things. And that's why it surprised me that I wasn't a fan of the original Oblivion. But the way this was remastered, the way this played, the way that it ran on the new hardware, I just thought they knocked this right out of the park. And I finished everything that you could in Oblivion Remaster.
I played a few hours of it, but I had finished OG Oblivion, so I played it, and I'm like, you know what? It's good. I don't want to play this right now because this came out the same week Expedition 33 came out. I'm like, I'm going to go see what the hype is. And then I'm like, holy shit. Shampoo in the chat says I didn't finish Oblivion Remastered either. Baron, did you even check this out?
I finished the heck out of this game. Only side missions I didn't finish, which I usually skip anyway, is the Mages Guild and the Fighters Guild. Those are the only ones I usually skip.
I enjoyed the Fighters Guild. It was just lay back and fight a little bit. I enjoyed it.
It's an XP booster. That's all it is.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I went out of my way not to sneak and snipe with arrows. I worked really hard not to do it because I always fall into that trap of walking around with a silenced weapon, taking enemies out and clearing areas. Like in any game that I can do it, I usually do. So I went like a mage build, casting and summoning, silencing, and like I was going out of my way. I was bringing mana potions everywhere. Like I played this game in such a different way that it felt like a completely different experience for me. And I did that on purpose, so I didn't get that feeling because I played the hell out of Oblivion.
Yeah.
The original. Honestly, I always say Oblivion and Fallout 3 like completely ruined like how I purchase games, because I'm like, what do you mean these two games are the same price?
No.
Like what do you mean? Like how are these the two? Like I get to do 300 hours in this one without even doing everything. and then this one is 30 hours, but they're the same price. Like, I was in high school. Was I high school? Yeah, and around that time, and I was like, I'm hooked. I'm hooked.
Shemplu agrees with you that they also do the silent bow arrow takedowns
Yeah,
as possible.
like it just, you get an enchanted bow, catch the guy hitting the corner, floop, and like sneak attack times 2 damage. Like it just, if it fits, it ships, and you can shoot a lot of arrows.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I only used the arrows right in the beginning. I forget what the lady's name was, where you could go into the dungeon and get the better armor right out of the gate. And it's the only time I used an arrow. The other times I just tried to do melee because I wanted to have that one-on-one combat going through it. So, but it was the only time I used the arrows was to get that extra boost early on with the armor.
As Shemplu did in the chat, arrow in the knee. I knew it was coming. Someone was going to say it.
Hey.
So I'm going to give my number 3 of the year. And this game ended up being the last minute edition, because when I wrote up my doc this morning, I ended up putting this as my number 3 as of last night. And I did not expect it to land here at all. I thought my top 3 were locked for the longest time. I thought it was going to be KCD2 blank and blank. But this little indie game came out of nowhere and floored me, and that is Dispatch. So Dispatch is Telltale Games roaring back at their highest caliber. I've been playing Telltale since the Jurassic Park game, but I fell in love with The Walking Dead when they did that. Giving me an emotionally devastating story with an IP I already adored. So why all of a sudden is Dispatch my number 3? Well, it's simple to me. It takes the tone of one of my favorite superhero stories of all time, Invincible, and remixes it into a sharp, choice-driven narrative about your own humanity. I think it asks the hard questions. What does it really mean to be a hero in a world drowning in chaos? Can people genuinely change? What does it really mean to be a hero? And do we owe them the chance to try to course correct to become a better version of themselves? You are Robert Robertson, who is actually voiced by Aaron Paul of Breaking Bad fame. So it's Jesse Pinkman playing this. And you are tasked with managing a crew of supervillain delinquents that society has written off as irredeemable. And you're the one giving them one last shot to prove themselves as you're wrestling with your own sense of heroism in the shadow of a tragic event that happens. It's a personal, messy, and it's a hard-hitting story, in my opinion. And I think for me, it's the tone that absolutely is spot on. It's witty, satirical. It knows when to go dark, and it knows when to be genuinely heartfelt. I think the balance to crack a joke 1 second and punch you in the gut in the next is something that mirrors the cadence of Invincible for me, which is why I fell in love with this game. They partner with Critical Role. And Critical Role is one of my favorite, if not my favorite, D&D show of all time. And there you go. Yeah, I have all my dice are in the closet somewhere. And I think it's a stroke of genius. You have Laura Bailey playing as a Vizigal. You have Travis Willingham playing Phenomenon. There's so many different characters, but I really want to highlight too, as I said, Aaron Paul. He absolutely nails a cocky, vulnerable, and emotionally raw character. Robert Robinson the third. Let me correct myself. There's a whole joke in the game, like, why the hell are you called Robert Robertson? So I think he just sells the fantasy of a troubled superhero, barely holding it together. The other MVP of this game is Jeffrey Wright. Jeffrey Wright is in this. He voices a character called Trackstar, who is essentially the Flash of this world. But the whole story around him is, as he kept running super fast, his aging also super fast as well. So he's a 40-year-old dude, and they call him, they say he looks like Black Einstein in the game. Like that's what he looks like. It's a 40-year-old man in like this Einstein-looking body. And I think it adds to the question of, you have this like bravado mask, but you also have a constant awareness of your own mortality. And I think the mini games in Dispatch, I think, are fun enough. They're tied to your role. It's choosing who's best suited for each mission and juggling priorities and making quick calls. It's simple but surprisingly engaging. So to me, I think Dispatch is a triumphant return into a genre and style of game that I've loved my whole life. Like I said, Walking Dead is one of my favorite stories in gaming of all time. That ending rewired my brain when that happened. And I think the story, it's razor sharp, it's heartfelt, and it has real emotional weight backed by stellar performances and just clever gameplay framing.
Yeah, that's quite interesting. I didn't know much about it, but if you say it's like Invincible, that would pique my interest enough to go play it, because I, like you, love the show Invincible, and as we all know, they're coming out with the Fighting Invincible game, which is going to be interesting. So it's one of these games, again, like I say all the time, it's on my radar to play, but I'm going to go with what Baron said. There's so many games to play. Like, will I ever get to it?
The one thing I will do to entice you to is so the game is episodic, and each episode is only 50 minutes. It's like watching a television episode. And it's just, you're sitting there and you're just choosing dialogue. And whenever you need to actually do the mini games, it's just quick. Like mouse and keyboard is probably the easiest way, because you're just clicking things and moving around. So like, it is a very like, it's engaging because it's the story, but you don't need to have your mind fully engaged to do like gameplay, because you can even turn off the QuickTime events and just watch the story unfold. So I literally have been doing it like watching a television season, where I'm on episode 7 now of the first season, and it's like, all right, I'm gonna go load up, I'm gonna go watch my episode and see how it all plays out. So it's an 8-hour game, because it's an 8-hour television show that you're essentially choosing your own way. So it's very quick. Baron, I know you're into the indie scene a lot. Has Dispatch been on your radar?
It's been on my radar. I just Marvel Rivals. But no, you know what? Let me just say this.
I'm gonna start throwing up the gif of Chappelle scratching his neck.
Whoa, it's bad, man. No, it is so bad. It reminds me of my stretch with freaking Valorant. And I say stretch like I'm serving time, because that's what I feel like. Like I hate the competitive layout. I hate what's happening, and I hate that you can get a double ban of the same characters, but yet I'll keep saying one more game, one more match.
That's all it takes.
That one more match, that should be like a warning label. It should have a warning label next to it. Hey, you got blew out by a random build of characters that should have never played against you. Hey, one more match. You may win the next one. Like, you may play against a bus of kindergartners. Like, no big deal. Or you may play against FaZe. Like, you don't know. One more match. Just get out there and find out. Roll the dice. But with Dispatch, I love a good, like, I mean, come on. I mentioned Keeper and Hurdling. So I have no problem with experiences. I think, like your pops mentioned, like Kevin mentioned, I thought the one thing that people ignore and truly it goes over their head, this is interactive art. Gaming is interactive art. It is art you can see, you control, you directly interact with, depending on the type of game. Like, this is interactive art, and to have a narrative game to be able to grab you and to be able to compare it to Invincible, even with the trailer that I saw, I can definitely see why you would say that. And it's something I look forward to. I love experiences. I feel like, I think of, once again, like you got Metal Gear Solid and Fox Sound and whatnot. Those are experiences. Like, I can remember those moments like it happened yesterday. And in my head, it looks like the most beautiful thing. But when Snake, you couldn't even see his face.
Yeah. There are a couple people in chat. Rampage says Dispatch looks very interesting. Dem Blue says, speaking of Breaking Bad, everyone go watch Pluribus on Apple TV. A great show. I need to catch up on it. Then Cherry Tomato Boy is calling me an Invisigooner. So I will take that stride with it, because I did romance Invisic, so people can. So, I
seen Carlac Light in there, and that's probably who I'm going to try to go for.
You can't even do it. It's. I want to put my fist through the screen. I see Malevolent. I'm like, please. But,
and I'm not playing the game anymore.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
And I'm out. No.
No. But we're gonna move on. Baron, your number 2 game of the year.
South of Midnight. South of Midnight, it did a great job of capturing. It felt very black and not it wasn't a caricature. And you don't see that too often in video games. Usually you get a caricature of Black people, but to create a Southern Gothic experience going into Southern lore, I mean, heck, you got a haunted catfish and you're dealing with haints, and it caught the South and the bayous in such a dope way. The music was phenomenal.
Oh, biggest snub at the Game Awards.
Oh, easily. And I said this, and I felt like small, because this game, I want to say maybe 20 hours, if that.
Yeah.
I always feel like these type of games need to be released in summer, end of summer.
Yeah.
I hate when these type of games get released in the beginning of the year, because recency bias is a very real thing. And what I loved most, and even in the trailer, I felt like these are people I've interacted with, whether it be family, whether it be people I've seen at church, whether it captured the essence of people I've interacted with on a regular basis. And you know, my mom's stuck in Atlanta right now because of the flights being canceled and whatnot. So like, just like it like this really it hit home in a way, and they did such a good job in creating the lore and the interaction between the rich and poor, and just the community, and building up those stories and taking these monsters and finding out why they're monsters. And it just, there's so much love put into this. Much love put into this game, and it did get snubbed big time. And I really think it was recency bias. It's just so many games released, and this released what was it, March? If that,
it was definitely earlier in the year. I also want to show, I do have the Two Toed Tom soundtrack downloaded.
Yeah,
I love it. I adored South of Midnight a lot. You know. And it touches on a mythology that I'm unfamiliar with. And I will say, this releasing so close to Sinners in the movie realm, like, both highlighting Southern mythology and culture, I think is a breath of fresh air and something that's absolutely needed. Like, there is no game like this. One, the art style is just absolutely a chef's kiss. But Dad, I know you have South of Midnight on your list as well. So do you want to hop in here?
This is my #1 game.
Let's go.
Because one, and you kind of all hit on it, one, the art style was so incredible. And I like when things are different, that it's not the rinse and repeat. Two, the music was, I still think it beats Expedition 33 soundtrack. I like it. Two, just as a side note, Sinners needs to be made into a game. That would be an incredible game, because I like my vampire stuff. The other thing is, and you kind of talked about it,
have a game of the Native Americans hunting the vampire. Make that the story. That's Redfall 2 that Colt was talking about.
It would work.
Yeah, it would work.
But with South of Midnight, like, just taking the different, unique myth of the bio and seeing that to me is what drew me in, because there's been nothing, as long as I've been gaming, that gave me that. And yes, I love all the games that give the Chinese mythology and you know, it get the Egyptian mythology and all that. There's never been this, and that's what drew me in. I've played through this game twice, and that's why I said it is gonna be my game of the year. And I was totally upset when they snubbed it so much at the Game Awards. Like, I said it should have been in one of the 5 to be nominated for it. Just what it brought that fresh feel. I absolutely loved the main character. I thought she was great. I thought it was great how she was learning her history and her lineage, you know, where her mother was trying to keep her away from that side because of how evil the other side was. And you're right, that rich and poor playing on it, like, I could give you everything, but then there was a lot of twists in it. You didn't see who you thought was the evil person ended up being the one trying to help you. And just the whole color and the style, and bringing in that Southern feel, like with the banjo playing, with the music, with
that nightclub area was so that music.
It was just incredible. This is my game of the year, no matter what anybody says.
And they took risk. They took big risks.
And And Shemplu says the world in the game was amazing and the story was phenomenal. I agree. The story was absolutely phenomenal in this.
Correct.
I think like the only thing, if I really had to critique it, was I think the combat was a little lacking.
Yes.
And I think that's what really drew people down. But I think the overall presentation carried this.
It was Compulsion Games. Like I don't play Compulsion Games because it's the most engaging combat on earth. Like that's not my first thought when I think of it.
Here's the thing, though, and that was the big dog. Everybody says, "Oh, the combat's bad." I didn't see that. I didn't mind the combat. I was so engrossed in the game and the gameplay mechanics that I didn't care about the combat. Like, I never once said, "Oh my God, this is clunky." Like, I was just so engrossed in what was going on that I never once crossed my mind. So I thought the game was flawless. That's why I put it at 1. You could say about the combat, you could say, I heard a lot of people saying that, oh, it was repetitive. What game isn't repetitive?
Thank you. Okay.
What game's not?
Every game is repetitive. It's just a matter if you like the gameplay loop or not.
Yeah.
If you like the loop, you like, bro, the king is watching. You're literally moving a little tile around and little pixel dudes is running out to fight bigger pixel guys.
Any roguelike game, roguelike game is the definition of repetition.
That is the whole point. Like, you have to lose to progress in these games. Like, so
I never understood why that was a negative. Oh, it's rinse and repeat. So every game is. I again will fight tooth and nail. This is my number 1 2025 game, and to me, it beat my number 2 by a good length. Like, this, to me, I love.
I wish it would have launched in September. Like, if it would have launched in September.
Well, this is what I'm saying, and we said it in our last podcast that, again, I'm a massive Gears fan, and I think Gears E-Day is going to be obliterated because it's going to be right before, it's going to be right after GTA 6, and the world's going to stop with GTA 6. And I'm thankful I'm going to be playing GTA 6 with everybody else, taking days off of work to play it. But the reality is it's going to hurt my E-Day because, again, we all know in today's economic time that if a game doesn't make the revenue that they're looking for, it either gets shelved or gets canned altogether. And I just can't see them canning, my Gears. So that's the only downside to again, I understand where it's released has a ton of what to do, whether it's successful or not successful.
I want to loop back. There is one comment that I do want to pull in. Well, there's a couple, but looping back, Cherry Tomato Boy is adding you, Baron, saying you're a man of culture with heart. Love Karlak.
Karlak is life. Karlak is life.
So, and then Shemplu was saying that Compulsion also made We Happy Few, which was a game that they thought looked great. And then they're saying maybe with all delays, GTA 6 will come out at the same time on PC. Yeah, I don't think so. They're gonna separate that still to get all the cash.
Correct. And We Happy Few, just again to go back to that, I thought that was going to be an outstanding game. I got about 4 hours into it and just had to bail on it. So I do agree, Shem. Like, things sometimes they look good, but if you have not played South of Midnight, you're doing a huge disservice to yourself because it is an outstanding game.
So, all right, Baron, that was your number 2, right?
Yes.
All right, and then Dad, that's your number 1. So I'm going to give my number 2. And I think if, we're going to be starting to wrap down this podcast here shortly, but, I think for anyone who has talked to me personally, you've seen my Discord profile picture or my Xbox profile picture, it's no surprise. My number 2 is Death Stranding 2. And I think the thing with Death Stranding 2 is this. Whenever you hear the phrase a Kojima game, you're in for something audacious. And I think, after the split, seeing him return with a brand new title called Death Stranding felt surreal. I approached it with awe, confusion, also a bit of grief because I knew the sweatshirt that I'm wearing right now was going into the sunset. We were never going to get a Metal Gear Solid directed by Kojima. Obviously, we ended up getting the remake of 3 this year, but that's besides the point. So, seeing Death Stranding of Kojima going into his new era, everyone speculated endlessly, what is this game? What's it going to be? how is he going to innovate? What ideas is he going to express? And when Death Stranding 1 released, it was very complicated because I think a lot of folks bounced off of it and they said, UPS simulator, it's a walking simulator. This game is boring, that's slow. And a lot of people even said that the game was pretty self-indulgent. And it really kind of deterred me in the slightest. And then I finally sat down with Death Stranding 1, and I didn't find a delivery sim. I found the game about isolation, grief, and the way we let the idea of connection become hollow.
Yep.
And I think in a world that is drowning in anger, violence, and hatred today, what does it actually mean to reach out to someone, to support them, to build something together? And I think the first game hit me on such a deep emotional level that I still think about it today. So when the sequel was announced, I thought to myself, how can something that I felt was so thematically complete with such a strong singular message be expanded upon? And I think Death Stranding 2 just doesn't extend the story; it leapfrogs the original. And,
really?
Yes. So for me, with the first game was about the pain of disconnection, and Death Stranding 2 is a story made for a post-COVID world where the problem isn't no connection anymore, but it's too much of it. What happens when every social media network, every link, every system becomes another way to control people or to spread fear? Should we have connected the world the way that we did during COVID? What does a society ruled by fear and violence actually achieve? And what does it cost the human spirit? And I think this game takes the themes of the first, flips them on their head, and then threads in answers, sometimes hopeful, sometimes very pessimistic, while also resolving plot lines from the original in a big, operatic, and satisfying way, in my opinion. I do think the gameplay has seriously been improved upon. I think DS2 leans more into the lineage of Metal Gear than before, giving you more tools, more flexibility, and more reasons to experiment, which is why I really like this game. There's new, fun, and generally compelling ways to approach new enemies, such as ghost mechs, but there's also enemy encampments that litter the open world. It's very similar to how Metal Gear Solid 5's open world plays out. So, and the encounters become both tense and playful. And, it's a Kojima game. So the game got even weirder than it did before, with new gadgets, bizarre combat concepts, and there's even full-on kaiju battles. And for people who know me, I love kaijus, and there's even Ultraman nods in this game. If for people who know where to look, like you can get your own kaiju and summon it with the Ultraman stick to summon, like they do in the show. So to me, I think Death Stranding 2 does exactly what a sequel should do. It doesn't recycle what works; it refines, reimagines, and elevates it. And I think it honored the foundation of what the first game had set. So that's why Death Stranding 2 is my personal number 2 of the year.
I'm going to go ahead and say the only reason it's not on my list is because I haven't played it. It's the only reason it's not on my list. I'm a Kojima diehard. So
am I.
I love Kojima too. And here's the thing. I was not a fan of Death Stranding 1. I did think that it was a UPS simulator. I thought that I was spending too many hours of my limited time that I have walking around. And I did not finish Death Stranding 2, but I can tell you that Death Stranding 2 is a leapfrog above Death Stranding 1, where it was not the simulator. It's constant action, which I was looking for. And I do plan to finish this. This was definitely would have been on my list if I played the whole thing.
Yeah, Shampoo in the chat says maybe we'll get Plastic Gear Semi-Solid.
Yeah, metaphysical solid.
And I do encourage for people to play Death Stranding 1, but it's a game that demands your time, and I think the more you put into it, the more you get out of it. And 100%. I think once you hit the second half, it's nonstop action. I think it's that first half that really tripped people up, but the second half of Death Stranding 1, I think, is masterful. But Death Stranding 2 does more Death Stranding, but it's better at it. And this is the first time I wanted to mention that it felt like Kojima had an editor. Like,
okay.
Like it is.
I know what you mean.
There isn't like a lot of there are some long cutscenes. There is a 40-minute cutscene in this, but it's not every other episode. So like he definitely refined his ideas, and someone was like, okay, Kojima, let's tone it. Like, we're not going to do a Metal Gear Solid 4 again. You're going to have to give some gameplay with this. So, but
let me tell you the thing that I noticed in what I played of this game is it has to be one of the best environmental.
Oh, 100%.
Environmental. What would you say? Dynamically changing weather and ground. It's so hard to explain.
The three of us were at the Death Stranding 2 world premiere. You saw how the music like matches the cadence of how you're walking. Yeah. And the environmental disasters that are happening, that shit is littered throughout the whole game. So it's audacious and it's brilliant at it.
You're walking on a mountain path to get where you have to go, and it's the only way. And then, a wicked storm comes and it takes your path away, and you got to find a different way. Like, I've never played a game that was that dynamic, and it's Kojima. The story's going to be a little out there. It's going to be wacky, but it's going to pay off at the end, and it's going to be incredible.
Baron, I need you to play DS2 and get to the ending, because I will say, this is the only thing I'll tell you to get you to do it. He runs back Snake versus Liquid. He runs it back.
Okay.
He runs it back. So
okay.
It's there.
That's it. That's all I need. Look, that's all I needed. Like, oh God.
It's there, and when you get to it, because it is the most Kojima ass boss battle you will get to. It's awesome. And he runs it back. And I will say this, there is, before I get to my dad's number 2, there is a moment, he loves his references, where the guy who directed Mad Max Fury Road, he's in this game, he plays Tarman, and they're asking about his missing hand. He goes, it's something akin to, and he looks at the camera, Phantom Pain. And kind of like,
does the music kick on? Oh, if the music would have kicked on. Hey, can we acknowledge that real quick before we move through it? Kojima's music selection is always obscure.
Yeah.
It's always it fits the themes of the games to a T. And he always introduces you to music you've never thought you wanted to listen to.
I will show you this. I made a whole playlist of every song in the Death Stranding 1 and 2, because it's a brilliant.
Yeah, it just, you just feel it, and it's a feel. It's an experience. Like, I know I say that a lot, but in the way that like Keeper and whatnot are experiences, this is a action. Well, from the Death Stranding 1. I haven't played 2 yet. It's sitting there. It's just so many games to play.
That's the story of this year. Dad, what's your number 2?
You talk about playing art. My number 2 is Silent Hill F.
Really?
I am this year, Baron. I can't say both feet forward into horror games. I don't know why, but Silent Hill took a chance and a different swing at the fence, which I love when studios do, and they got away from their normal, narrative, and they took this into Japan. And this to me was beautifully scary, if that makes sense.
Yeah, finding the beauty in horror is the game,
without a doubt. And to me, this is like playing a painting, a horror painting. That's what it feels like. And I just felt this game was so satisfying to me, because it wasn't, and I like Silent Hill, but it was nothing like other Silent Hills. And if you see what we're looking at now, like the horror and the villains and the monsters was just so unique, and the story being so unique. And Kobie and I had lengthy conversations as we were playing it, like, what do we really feel this is about? It really has an undertone of,
that makes me itch. Oh,
but it has a weird undertone of like being bullied in today's world. It's suicide in this world, things of that nature. It really hit upon it with the undertone of this of this game that you play. But at the end of it, it was a great horror game, and it was quite beautiful in my opinion.
Yeah, I love Silent Hill F. I think it's a game that I need to get back to do the other endings, because the endings expand upon it. Baron, for your knowledge, it does the Nier Automata thing, where the first run is not your true ending. Like, the game consistently builds, like, it requires multiple playthroughs to get the full story, because when you do your new game plus, cutscenes change, they add new stuff, they remove stuff. Like, it is consistently messing with your mind. and you have to kind of give it its time and attention to fully see the whole story. I really liked it. Shemslu says Silent Hill F. I loved and hated that game at the same time. Strange feeling to have. I think it's a tough one to swallow, and I think it's going to come down to the combat for some people. I enjoyed the combat, but
I did too.
I think it's a swing for the series, and I think it absolutely nailed it for me.
Yes. I like when major franchises like Silent Hill, I like when they take a chance. It's worth taking a chance. You know, I always go back to, because I'm a Gears fan, you know, 4 and 5, especially 5, they took a swing for the fence, didn't care for it that much. They're open world, stick to the linear, but it was okay with me. Like, they took that chance. If we don't take chances, we're just going to be Call of Duties every year and FIFA and Madden every year. That's what we're going to be. People need to take the chances. And I'm going to, again, bring this back to South of Midnight. They took a chance. They did something unique. They did something unique in the style. I'll never criticize any studio for taking that swing and trying something new. Sometimes it lands, sometimes it doesn't. I'm fine with it. Sometimes I love it, sometimes I hate it, but I'm fine with it to take those swings, because if not, we're going to be a very stale gaming industry where it's the same exact games with new skins every year, and that's what it's going to be. And that, to me, is not a gaming future that I want to live in.
I agree.
I want them to be different and hit different, but Silent Hill F was my second favorite due to that.
I agree.
Yeah.
So, Baron, I think you and I have the same game of the year, so we can tag team this, and it's probably going to be to no one's surprise. So, do you want to say what it is?
Expedition 33.
Yeah,
man.
same here. My game of the year is Expedition 33.
You know what? That story.
Oh,
that story came out of left field. It hit like a ton of bricks. There was moments where I wanted to put my controller down and just like contemplate life.
At the end of Act 1.
Yeah. Oh man, come on.
Yeah.
Like even just the first, not the culling. Is it called the culling?
The gamage.
The gamage. Even the gamage, like just, and then it. I as a Kojima fan, and it's funny, this has nothing to do with Kojima, but just a good story. Like something that drives me forward, that makes me want to continue. But I will say, what Colt brought it up earlier. My issues with the game were once the game fully opened up. That was my one knock against it. Like, okay, I can do everything, but what do I do?
Yeah.
Like, and that's a very weird complaint to have as somebody who absolutely loves, who absolutely loves open world games. But I felt like that's the one place where it fell short. But all the twists and turns within the story, you think you know what's happening, and then you don't. You have no idea what's happening. And it tells such a beautiful story, and the main character is not who you think it is. It's amazing. It's amazing in that way.
I think
music.
Oh, the music. Lorian Tester, you beautiful bastard. Listen to that. I think it was sad about my Spotify replay this year. It was like, you love soundtracks. I'm like, yeah, no shit.
Let's go.
There's a lot of gaming music that came out this year. But I think as we wrap down this podcast, I want to go on my soap opera here about this, which I think, to me, this is the kind of game that defines what this medium can truly be. You know, it reminded me in a very real way of why I wanted to be part of the games industry to even start. I think that the story behind its development is truly awe-inspiring, with a bunch of developers leaving the AAA machine to fully form a studio and make a game that they wanted to play themselves. And they really prioritized art over profit. And I think that is kind of the overall theming of this year in gaming, is there was so much art over profit, and there were so many good games that, like, the games that you would note, like, mostly see be in the top selling charts this year have kind of fallen by the wayside. Like, it is these smaller titles that from smaller teams that have absolutely jumped up to the top of the leaderboards for so many people. And it's such a good, healthy thing for the industry. And I think, a personal level for me, it accomplished the several huge feats. It made me fall in love with a genre that I usually am not very experienced with the turn-based JRPG genre. And it sent me down a rabbit hole of trying to find required reading for the turn-based genre, because I'm like, oh, this is what it can be. And I wanted to see what influenced Expedition. Where should I go? And I went fully into it. And then and then the gameplay, I think I do disagree. I liked where the open world happened. I think I like that because, my dad said about playing a painting with Silent Hill. If you know, you're like the game is so amazing when it opens up. And I always say the Attack on Titan moment in this, like for people who watch Attack on Titan, like I'm not going to spoil it, but the jump between season 3 to season 4.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And that's
do it now? No.
Yeah. out there across the sea. Like, yeah. So like, that's the thing. Like Expedition 33 pulls an Attack on Titan on me. And I'm like, oh my God, this game's actually really opening up. But I love the combat. I love the gameplay. I love how it took the real-time elements, combined it with the turn-based, and made it super engaging. And like you said, the story, oh my God, it's so compelling, so layered. And people are still talking about it. The characters, the themes, the way it all comes together, the ambiguity of the ending, the gray morals of it. It's everything that I want in a story. I love a morally gray story, and that is what Expedition 33 is. The story about how can you handle grief. And, I think it's saying something because we're living in an era where games like Baldur's Gate 3, Elden Ring, even Astrobot are actively reshaping how we think about genre scope and possibility. And I think in the midst of all that stacked lineup, Expedition 33 comes in and carves its own identity and starts becoming a genre-defining game as well. So we're literally having, for the past 4 or 5 years, genre-defining experiences, and Expedition 33 is that this year.
And that goes into like earlier the talk about like what is game of the year, and for me it's always been that game that moves the masses. Like it moves the culture of gaming forward.
Yeah.
Not necessarily forward, because once again, a lot of these elements always existed already, but in the way that it all came together, and the way that everybody consumed it, or the ones who did consume it, in a way it impacted them. That music, man, just even getting to that loading screen.
Yeah.
Like just the intro, I like that they put in they added a I forgot the term for it, but it's basically like a filter. There you go. They added a filter for people in a way that training fight that you experience within the first 20 minutes of the game, it lets you know what you're about to experience, and you can repeat it over and over and over.
Yeah.
And I personally think that was a great way to let folks know, like, hey, this is what the game is going to be.
Yeah.
Do you want to continue? If so, move on. If not, digitally go get that return. Like, like they, and I don't know if that was the intention of it, but that's what it was for me. Because I definitely sat there and fought my L for like a good hour just to kind of get the swing of things, because it is timing for sure.
Yeah. I think the big issue with this is too, that not an issue, but when you're looking, we know it's going to win Game of the Year, and it's really coming from an independent developer. That's where I like
it's
it.
It's an indie game.
Yeah,
100%.
Right. So, and again, I'm not a turn-based guy. I never cared for the turn-based, and Kobie had talked to me about it, and like I got a few hours into it. I definitely am going to go back and play it, and I actually liked it because I'm like, well, it's really not turn-based, but it is. Like, to me, it's not the definition of turn-based. So that's what I had to get over to play it, because I don't like turn-based. It's just not my genre. But like when you're attacking and they're attacking and you could still parry and dodge, that's not turn-based to me. So they had taken that turn-based and boosted it to the next level, and that's what kind of drew me into it, along with the story and everything else. So I do got to get in and finish it, but I just love it that it's an indie developer more than anything that's going to win Game of the Year here. And if you really look at a lot of the nominations that could win, there's a lot of indie that's in there this year.
Yeah, it's a lot of smaller titles and from smaller studios. So I think the industry is heading in a very healthy place. But that's it. That's all of our games of the year. 2025 has been crazy, and there's still so many games that I missed. I just want to do a quick couple things that I need to play Metroid. That didn't make it here. I need to play Octopath Traveler 0, Absalom. I know Shampoo mentioned that in the chat. I still need
installed.
I still need to play that. Routine just came out. Marvel Cosmic Invasion.
I haven't even played Rita's Rewind. That was this year too, right?
I think so. Yeah. There's just so many titles out there that it was hard to keep up. Even like I haven't even finished Ghost of Yotei. I'm 2 hours into it.
I haven't even touched it.
Yeah, and then like there another one that I have, and I'm like, I really need to get into this. Oh God, I like barely play. You know, Arc Raiders just took up too.
I haven't even bought it, which I'm proud of myself. I haven't bought Arc Raiders yet.
Good for you. You're better than us.
Ghost of Yotei has been sitting in my PS5 since I got it, and I just haven't gotten around to it.
I still need to get back to
installed.
Yeah, need to get back to Hell Is Us. I need to get back to Borderlands 4.
Oh God, I forgot about Hell Is Us.
Yeah, so there's so many games out there, but I think this has been one of the greatest years in gaming. I think 2026 is looking even crazier. So we're in for a treat. We're in for a ride. But Baron, thank you so much for stopping by the Father and Son Gaming Podcast. It was an absolute pleasure having you here. We hope to see you again on the show at some point. It was absolutely a blast to have you on the show. Thank you to everyone who had joined the chat and was chatting along with us. I know this was a much longer show than usual, but there was a lot to break down. Also, thanks to Colteastwood who dropped by earlier. This was amazing. Bombay says 10 out of 10 stream. Amazing guests. Loved it. We appreciate it. I'm going to throw up the socials again. Baron, you can start yapping away about all your socials. Just kind of plug LV1Gaming here.
Please. Help us get to 5,000 subs. That's what we're really pushing for on YouTube. LV1Gaming 20. On Twitter, LV1Gaming, Twitch, LV1_gaming, LV1 Game. Honestly, where you see the Phoenix, that's where we're going to be. We have our weekly podcast on Fridays, the LV1 Gaming podcast. That's where you get all your news and your big, your what's the term, your tentpole conversations. Then you have every other week we have the Backlog Barbarians, which I'm gonna have you guys come on and guest on that show.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, that's a show where we simply talk about. We don't do news. We don't do nothing news. It's seriously what games we're playing, what games we bought, what games we need to finish. And shout out to Geek Life Mike. I believe he was watching. He actually does a thing where he goes through for the game of the year category, and he makes sure it's like Kevin mentioned to play all of the games for game of the year. And he really agrees that Astrobot rightfully won last year.
Yes, hands down. And
there's a whole conversation he had about it, and he was like, "No,
that's awesome.
I played all the games, including Metaphor. Astrobot won because it was supposed to win."
Yeah, best platform ever.
Would love to hop on over and join you guys for that. And there's another thing that we plan on doing here on our channel is a video game book month of the club. So maybe you can hop in and help us with that. Like just going through like history of gaming, like picking a game that people should play. It's kind of like the required reading and just kind of like educating people about that. We're going to start that
for a month, and then we have people come in and talk about it. One of the big things that we want to push with it is, like you talked about Astrobot, maybe people didn't play Mario Brothers, the first one, because that's where it came from. Or like I always say, Metal Gear Solid, there was so much gears over the shoulder. There's so much. And I think younger generations, they love the new games, but they need to know where the roots came from. So we've been toying around doing the game of the month.
We're going to start it in 2026.
Yeah, I don't care if you emulate it, I don't care if you buy it, whatever, but play it for the thing, and then we talk about, what influences these games brought out, and one of those that's one of our 2026 additionals.
And Cherry Tomato Boy in the chat says Baron and Colt, the GOAT, no cap. So
I appreciate you.
Yeah, so you're the GOAT.
But it's just one of the things that we're looking to expand the channel, where every Monday we do these podcasts, but throughout the week, Kobie and I have gone on and played because they like to see us compete against each other, which I beat his ass all the time. So, come on. I'm going to ask you, Baron, now that I have somebody here. I know what you're going to bring up. We were playing NBA Jam. Now, you tell me, I'm a jammer, boy.
Got it.
Now, he was home. We were down in the basement. We were playing. He's never beat me.
Okay.
I scored. I put the controller down. I'm up and I'm in his face screaming that I beat him. He's looking aside. I didn't realize that it wasn't over. He's looking aside.
He's not paying attention. Pay
Scoring,
attention.
scoring, and he beat me. Is that really a win?
Pay attention.
There's an
Shouldn't he
asterisk
have paused it? And
there's an asterisk next to it. You definitely, it was definitely a bubble year. It was
ever played down in Orlando.
It was a bubble season. Yes, on paper you won, but do you feel like you won?
Yes.
Kobie, do you feel like a winner?
100%. 100%.
The thing you don't understand about our relationship is I don't give a crap if he was 3 years old. I was beating the shit out of him.
As you should. That's the only way to get good.
This has been going on all his life, but to be honest, he could beat me in some shooters now. But
I will say this. First off, B. Whitaker 2K6 says, "Hey, I know that Baron guy."
Oh god, that's my boss.
Then your own channel, LV1Gaming 20 says, "Shout out to y'all. Great to see my brother Baron on here. Thank you for watching."
He's being nice because we're in public.
The last story I'll say is my dad and I, we bought Undisputed when it was on early access on Steam.
Oh, come on.
Hang on. So we started boxing each other, and we both got the achievement for winning at the same time. We had a disconnect. All right. And then the multiplayer wasn't winning. So at PAX last year, they had a booth. And I said, yo, you want to run this back? And his chest gets all up. He's like, yeah, I'll run it back. And we have a picture somewhere of me. I said, before we play, I hold up the belt. I'm like, you're going to have this picture on the fridge.
It's in our video.
In one of the videos. It's on the video. And I said, you're going to have this picture to remember when I beat your ass in front of everyone here. So we go. It's on Arena Wi-Fi. I used Canelo. I think you used. It was 2 top tier boxers.
Okay.
I won. I beat the crap out of him.
My controller was broke.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Dad tax, bro. Dad tax. Look, man. As a dad of 3, you heard one run in earlier. I got to tell you, he won.
Yes.
And you see, it's the father and son gaming podcast, not son and father.
And then I was yelling elder abuse. There.
Yeah, he was yelling elder abuse.
Yeah, come on, man. He won.
But Dad, Cherry Tomato Boy says game doesn't end until the clock hits 0. So
come on. There's a thing called pause and tell me to sit down.
But these
except
are
in Call of Duty Black Ops 7.
Yeah.
No, I'm just not.
There is none. Horrible.
But
horrible.
Once again, Baron, thank you so much for dropping by. It's been an absolute pleasure. Everyone go check out their podcast on Friday. They're going to be giving away Outer Worlds 2 on Steam, the premium edition. So go check that out. Go support them there. They're absolutely lovely over there. One of our favorites in the industry. So have at it. And everyone have a great rest of your week. And Baron, see you at the Game Awards.
Hang around till after credits roll.
But everyone, see you all next time.
Hang around till after the credits roll. Thanks. Later, guys.